1. Forgetting to slow down. Take a deep breath with me. Right now, in this moment, nothing is chasing you. I know the world moves fast, and there's always another task waiting, another email to answer, another place to be. But here's a gentle truth: speed isn't always progress. When you rush through life, you miss the texture of it. You miss the way sunlight filters through leaves, the warmth of your coffee cup in your hands, the subtle shift in a loved one's expression that tells you they need you. Slowing down isn't laziness. It's not falling behind. It's actually how you move forward with intention instead of momentum. Think of it like this: a river that rushes loses its clarity, but one that flows steadily nourishes everything it touches. Today, try this: pick one activity. Just one. Maybe it's your lunch, or your evening walk, or the drive home. Do it at half your usual speed. Notice what you've been missing. Notice how your shoulders drop, how your breathing deepens, how the world comes back into focus. You don't have to slow down forever. Just long enough to remember what it feels like to be present in your own life. The tasks will still be there. But so will you, calmer, clearer, more connected to what matters. And from that place, you'll find that everything you do carries more meaning, more joy, more of the real you. 2. Caring too much about opinions. Listen closely: you are not a mirror, endlessly reflecting what others want to see. You are a window, meant to let your own light shine through. I understand why you care what people think. We're wired for connection, for belonging. But somewhere along the way, caring about others' thoughts became carrying them. And that weight, it's crushing the very thing that makes you, you. Here's something liberating: most people are too busy worrying about what you think of them to spend much time judging you. And those who do judge harshly, that judgment says everything about their own fears and nothing about your worth. Think about someone you deeply admire. Chances are, what you love most about them is their authenticity, the way they unapologetically take up space as themselves. That's what draws people in. Not perfection. Not people-pleasing. Realness. Today, make one choice based solely on what you want. Order the food you actually crave. Wear the outfit that makes you feel alive. Share the opinion you've been swallowing. Start small. Your life is too precious to spend it performing for an audience that's constantly changing its mind anyway. The people who truly matter will love you for who you are, not who you pretend to be. And the ones who don't, they were never your people to begin with. Let them go. Let yourself breathe. Let yourself be gloriously, imperfectly, authentically you. 3. Ignoring your health. Your body has been whispering to you. Maybe for weeks, maybe for years. That persistent ache, that exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix, that tightness in your chest, that voice saying, something isn't right. And I know, you've been too busy. Too busy to rest when you're tired. Too busy to eat well when you're hungry. Too busy to see a doctor when something hurts. You tell yourself you'll deal with it later, when things calm down. But here's the uncomfortable truth: later has a way of arriving with much bigger problems. Your body isn't separate from you. It's not a machine you can run into the ground and expect to keep performing. It's you. Every thought you think, every dream you dream, every person you love, all of it depends on this one body you've been given. Ignoring your health isn't strength. It's a gamble. And the stakes? Everything you're working so hard for. What if, starting today, you treated your body like someone you love? Would you let someone you love skip meals, push through pain, sacrifice sleep night after night? Would you tell them their well-being doesn't matter? Make the appointment. Take the vitamins. Get the 8 hours. Move your body with kindness, not punishment. Listen when it speaks. Because all the success, all the achievements, all the things you're sacrificing yourself for, they mean nothing if you're not healthy enough to enjoy them. You are the foundation. Care for yourself accordingly. 4. Skipping breakfast and sleep. Let me paint you a picture of what you're doing to yourself. Imagine trying to drive cross-country on an empty tank, expecting your car to run on fumes and willpower. That's what skipping breakfast and sleep is doing to your body and mind. You wake up after 5 or 6 hours of restless sleep, hit snooze 3 times, then stumble through your morning with nothing but coffee sloshing in your empty stomach. By 10 a.m., you're irritable. By noon, you're crashing. By evening, you're so exhausted you can barely think straight. Sound familiar? Sleep isn't optional. It's when your brain consolidates memories, when your body repairs itself, when your immune system strengthens. Cutting it short isn't productive, it's self-sabotage. Studies show that sleeping less than 7 hours impairs your judgment as much as being drunk. And breakfast. That's not just a meal. It's literally breaking the fast, giving your body the fuel it needs to think clearly, manage stress, and maintain stable energy. Without it, you're asking your body to run on empty, and it responds with brain fog, mood swings, and eventually, serious health issues. Here's your reset. Tonight, set a bedtime that gives you 8 hours. Actually stick to it. Tomorrow morning, even if it's just a banana and some eggs, eat something nourishing within an hour of waking. Watch what happens. Watch your mood stabilize. Your focus sharpen. Your energy sustain. You deserve to feel good. And it starts with these two non-negotiable foundations, real sleep and real fuel. 5. Rushing through mornings. The way you start your morning sets the tone for your entire day. Yet you're beginning each day in chaos, alarm blaring, panic mode activated, racing against the clock, grabbing whatever's closest, checking your phone before you've even fully opened your eyes. And then you wonder why you feel anxious all day. Why everything feels urgent. Why you can't seem to find your center. Your morning is sacred time. It's the only part of the day that's truly yours before the world starts making demands. But you've turned it into a sprint, and your nervous system is paying the price. What if you started your day like you meant to live it, with presence, with peace, with intention? This doesn't require a 2-hour meditation and yoga routine. It just requires you to give yourself 15 extra minutes. Set your alarm earlier. Not to do more, but to be more. Use those minutes to sit with your coffee in actual silence. To stretch your body awake gently. To write 3 things you're grateful for. To eat breakfast sitting down. To breathe deeply and remind yourself that you're safe, you're capable, you're enough. Notice how different it feels to start your day rather than react to it. To move through your morning with calm purpose instead of frantic survival mode. The world can wait 15 minutes. Your peace cannot. Tomorrow morning, give yourself the gift of a slow start. Your whole day will thank you. Your whole life will shift. 6. Hiding true feelings. You've become so good at wearing masks that you've almost forgotten what your real face looks like. I'm fine, you say, when you're falling apart. No worries, you text, when you're actually hurt. It's okay, you whisper, when nothing feels okay at all. You're so busy protecting everyone else from your feelings that you're drowning in them alone. Here's what hiding your feelings actually does: it doesn't make them go away. It makes them grow. It turns sadness into depression, frustration into resentment, fear into anxiety. Unexpressed emotions don't dissolve, they crystallize inside you, getting heavier and sharper with time. And the loneliest part? You're surrounded by people who think you're doing great. They can't support you through struggles they don't know exist. They can't understand you when you're performing a script instead of showing up as yourself. Being vulnerable isn't weakness. It's the only way to truly connect. It's how you let others see you, know you, love the real you instead of the edited version. Start small. Tell one safe person one true thing. I've been struggling lately. That actually hurt my feelings. I'm scared. Notice how speaking your truth out loud loosens its grip on you. Notice how the right people don't run away, they come closer. Your feelings are valid. All of them. The messy ones, the inconvenient ones, the ones you think you shouldn't have. They deserve to be expressed, not imprisoned. And you deserve to be known for who you really are, not who you think you should be. 7. Taking friends for granted. There are people in your life who light up when they hear from you. People who've seen you at your worst and loved you anyway. People who've celebrated your wins, sat with you through losses, and laughed with you until your stomach hurt. And lately, you've been too busy for them. Too tired. Too caught up in work, obligations, your own head. You think about texting them, you really do, but then something else grabs your attention, and suddenly it's been weeks, months, longer. Here's what you need to understand: friendships aren't automatic. They're living things that need tending. And neglect, even unintentional neglect, kills them slowly. One day you'll reach for these connections and find they've faded. Not because of a fight or betrayal, but because of silence. Because neither of you tried hard enough, reached out enough, showed up enough. The people who truly see you, who get you, who choose you, they're rare. They're precious. And they deserve more than the leftover scraps of your time and attention. Today, right now, send a message to someone you've been meaning to reach out to. Not just a, "Hey, how are you?" that goes nowhere. A real message. A memory that made you think of them. A question about something they care about. Make plans, even if they're weeks away. Show up for birthdays. Answer the call instead of texting, "Can't talk now." Be present when you're together, phone away, attention full. Your friends aren't placeholders. They're irreplaceable. Treat them that way before you learn this lesson through loss. 8. Working without rest. You wear your exhaustion like a badge of honor. "I'm so busy," you say, as if burnout is a measure of your worth. You work through lunch, answer emails at midnight, sacrifice weekends, skip vacations, and convince yourself that rest is something you'll do later, when the project is done, when things slow down, when you've earned it. But things never slow down. There's always another deadline, another goal, another fire to put out. And meanwhile, you're running on empty, wondering why you feel numb, why nothing brings you joy anymore, why you can't remember the last time you felt genuinely excited about anything. Here's what they don't tell you about burning out: you don't just lose your energy. You lose yourself. Your creativity dies. Your relationships suffer. Your health deteriorates. The very things you're working so hard for become meaningless because you're too depleted to enjoy them. Rest isn't laziness. It's not optional. It's not something you have to earn. Rest is how you sustain excellence. It's how you stay human. Your best work doesn't come from grinding yourself into dust. It comes from a mind that's rested, a body that's nourished, a spirit that's replenished. Starting today, take your lunch break. Away from your desk. Actually log off at a reasonable hour. Protect your weekends. Take the vacation days. And when you rest, really rest, no guilt, no phone checking, no half-working. You are not a machine. You're a human being, and human beings need to rest to thrive. Your worth isn't measured by your output. Work will always be there. Make sure you are too. 9. Talking but not listening. You're in a conversation, but you're not really there. While the other person is speaking, you're already formulating your response. Planning what you'll say next. Waiting for your turn to talk. Or worse, interrupting before they've even finished their thought. You think you're communicating, but you're actually just taking turns broadcasting. And in the space where real connection could happen, there's just noise. Listening, truly listening, is a dying art. It means being fully present. Not thinking about what you'll say, not judging, not fixing, not one-upping with your own story. Just absorbing what someone is sharing with the attention it deserves. When you really listen, something magical happens. People feel seen. Understood. Valued. They open up. They trust you. They share the real stuff, not just the surface pleasantries. And you actually learn something. You understand perspectives you never considered. You build relationships that matter. Think about how you feel when someone truly listens to you, no phone, no distraction, just full presence. You feel that, right? That warmth, that validation. That's what you give when you listen fully. Tomorrow, try this. In your next conversation, focus entirely on understanding, not responding. Notice body language. Hear the emotion beneath the words. Ask questions that go deeper, not ones that redirect the conversation to you. Put your phone away. Make eye contact. Nod. Pause before responding. Let silence exist, it's where truth often emerges. The most powerful gift you can give someone is your full attention. Everyone is fighting battles you know nothing about. Listen. Really listen. You might be the only one who does. 10. Forgetting small joys. You're so focused on the big milestones, the promotion, the house, the achievement, the someday, that you're missing the ordinary magic happening right now. The way your coffee smells in the morning. The text from a friend that makes you smile. The sunset you didn't even notice because you were scrolling through your phone. The song that came on shuffle at exactly the right moment. These small joys. They're not insignificant. They're actually what life is made of. The big moments are rare. The small ones are constant, if you have eyes to see them. Happiness isn't some distant destination you'll reach when everything falls into place. It's woven into the everyday moments you keep overlooking while you wait for real life to start. The laughter over a shared joke. The perfectly ripe piece of fruit. The feeling of clean sheets. The hug that lasts an extra second. The breeze on your face. The quiet moment before everyone else wakes up. The stranger who held the door. The meal you actually tasted instead of inhaled. These aren't consolation prizes. They're the prizes. Today, become a collector of small joys. Notice 3 things that bring you even the tiniest spark of pleasure. Actually register them. Maybe even write them down. Watch how this practice shifts your entire experience of being alive. Life isn't happening someday. It's happening now, in these small, beautiful, fleeting moments. Don't miss your life by waiting for it to begin. It's already here. Pay attention. Be present. Let the small joys in. Because in the end, when you look back, it won't be the big achievements you remember most fondly. It'll be these tiny, perfect moments when you were fully alive and paying attention. 11. Comparing too often. You scroll through their highlight reel and compare it to your behind the scenes. Their promotion, their vacation, their perfect relationship, their seemingly effortless success. And suddenly, your own life feels small. Inadequate. Not enough. But here's what you're forgetting, you're comparing their chapter 20 to your chapter 11. Their final edit to your rough draft. Their public victory to your private struggle. Comparison is a thief. It steals your joy, your gratitude, your ability to celebrate your own progress. It whispers that you're failing because someone else is winning, as if life is a race with limited prizes. The truth? Their success doesn't diminish yours. Their happiness doesn't mean you can't have your own. There's no quota on achievement or fulfillment. Someone else's garden blooming doesn't make yours less beautiful, it just means you're growing different flowers, on different timelines, in different soil. You have no idea what it cost them to get there. The failures they hide. The struggles they don't post. The advantages you can't see. You're comparing your insides to their outsides, and that's not a fair fight. Here's your freedom, run your own race. Measure yourself against who you were yesterday, not who someone else is today. Celebrate others without diminishing yourself. Unfollow accounts that make you feel less than. Focus on your own path. Your journey is yours alone. Stop trying to win a competition that doesn't exist. The only person you need to be better than is the person you were before. And by that measure, you're already winning. 12. Keeping anger too long. You're still replaying it. That conversation from 3 weeks ago. That betrayal from last year. That injustice that still makes your jaw clench when you think about it. You've held onto your anger so long it's become part of your identity. And you think you're punishing them by staying angry. But here's the hard truth, they've moved on. They're living their life, sleeping peacefully, while you're the one carrying this weight. You're not holding them accountable, you're holding yourself hostage. Anger, in the moment, is valid. It's your body's alarm system telling you something isn't right. But anger that becomes chronic. That's poison you drink hoping someone else will suffer. It's exhausting, isn't it? Carrying that rage everywhere. Feeling your blood pressure spike at the mere mention of their name. Losing sleep, losing peace, losing presence in good moments because you can't stop reliving bad ones. You deserve to put this down. Not because they deserve your forgiveness, maybe they don't. But because you deserve freedom. You deserve to reclaim the energy you're spending on resentment and redirect it toward your own healing, your own joy, your own life. Letting go isn't about excusing what happened. It's about refusing to let what happened continue to damage you. Today, try this, write down everything you're angry about. Every detail. Then either burn it, tear it up, or delete it. Physically releasing it helps your mind follow. You've carried this long enough. It's okay to set it down now. You're not forgetting. You're not condoning. You're simply choosing yourself over the person who hurt you. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. 13. Waiting for the right time. You're waiting for the right time to start that business. The right time to have that conversation. The right time to make that change, take that trip, pursue that dream. When you're more ready, more prepared, more certain. When everything aligns perfectly. But here's what nobody tells you, the right time doesn't exist. There will always be a reason to wait. More money to save. More skills to learn. More stability to achieve. More fear to overcome. If you're waiting for perfect conditions, you'll be waiting forever. The truth is, you're using someday as a hiding place. It feels safer than today because today carries risk. Today means facing the possibility of failure, judgment, or disappointment. Someday keeps all possibilities alive without requiring you to actually try. But here's what you're sacrificing: your life, your dreams, your potential. Time is passing whether you act or not. And every day you wait is a day you'll never get back. The people you admire, they didn't wait for perfect timing. They started messy, scared, unprepared. They figured it out as they went. The perfect moment arrived because they decided it was time, not the other way around. What if the right time is simply the moment you decide to begin? What if readiness isn't a feeling you wait for but a decision you make? Start today. Not perfectly. Not with everything figured out. Just start. Take one small step. Make one phone call. Write one page. Have one conversation. Because the right time isn't coming to rescue you. You are the right time. You, right now, with all your imperfections and uncertainties. You're already enough to begin. Stop waiting. Start living. 14. Fearing change. Everything is shifting, and you're terrified. The job, the relationship, the routine, the city, something's changing or needs to change, and you're clinging to what you know with white knuckles, even though it's not serving you anymore. Because the familiar feels safe. Even when it's painful, at least you know it. Change? Change is unknown territory. And the unknown feels like threat, like risk, like everything could fall apart. But here's the thing about change: it's already happening. You can't stop it. You can only choose whether you'll resist it or dance with it. And resistance? It's like trying to hold water in your fists. Exhausting and ultimately futile. Think about every significant growth in your life. Going to school, moving out, starting a new job, ending a relationship, losing someone. At the time, each felt terrifying. But looking back, those changes shaped you. They broke you open so something new could emerge. The person you are now exists because of changes you survived. What you're really afraid of isn't change itself, it's who you'll be on the other side of it. What if you can't handle it? What if you fail? What if you lose yourself? But here's the gentle truth: you've already changed 1,000 times and remained yourself. Change doesn't erase you. It reveals you. The caterpillar doesn't disappear in the cocoon, it transforms. And yes, transformation is uncomfortable. It requires letting go of old forms. But it's also how you evolve into everything you're meant to be. Stop resisting. Start trusting. Trust that you're capable of adapting. Trust that change, even painful change, is often redirecting you towards something better. Trust that who you're becoming is worth the discomfort of letting go of who you were. Change isn't your enemy. Stagnation is. 15. Saying yes too easily. Yes. It rolls off your tongue automatically, even when every fiber of your being wants to say no. Yes to the favor you don't have time for. Yes to the event you don't want to attend. Yes to the project you're already too overwhelmed to take on. Yes, 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 until you're drowning in commitments and wondering why you have no time for yourself. You think you're being kind, helpful, a good person. But here's what you're actually doing: you're teaching people that your boundaries don't exist. That your time and energy are available to everyone except you. Every yes to something you don't want is a no to something you do. Every time you prioritize someone else's needs over your own, you send yourself the message that you matter less. And the exhaustion you feel, the resentment that builds, the sense that you're living someone else's life. That's the price of boundaryless yesing. Here's what you need to hear: no is a complete sentence. You don't need an excuse, an elaborate explanation, or a counteroffer. No, I can't is valid. No, that doesn't work for me is enough. You're not being selfish by protecting your time and energy. You're being wise. You're recognizing that you can't pour from an empty cup. You're honoring that your peace, your rest, your priorities matter just as much as anyone else's. Starting now, pause before you answer. Ask yourself, do I actually want to do this? Do I have capacity for this? Is this aligned with my priorities? If the answer is no, say no. Yes, some people will be disappointed. Let them be. Their disappointment is not your emergency. Your well-being is not negotiable. Say yes when you mean it. Say no when you need to. Your life belongs to you first. 16. Not asking for help. You're carrying everything alone. The weight of it all, the problems, the responsibilities, the burdens you were never meant to carry solo. Your shoulders are screaming, your spirit is breaking, but still you won't reach out. Maybe you think asking for help is weakness. Maybe you're afraid of being a burden. Maybe you believe you should be able to handle this yourself. Maybe you've asked before and been let down, so you decided never again. But here's the truth you're missing: refusing to ask for help isn't strength. It's self-punishment. You're not a superhero. You're a human being, and human beings are designed for interdependence. We're meant to lean on each other, lift each other, share the load. No one makes it through life alone, not really. The people who love you, they want to help. They're waiting for you to let them in. But you keep saying, "I'm fine," when you're falling apart, and they believe you because what else can they do? Think about how you feel when someone you care about asks you for help. You don't think less of them. You feel honored, trusted, needed. You give it gladly because connection is built in both directions, in giving and receiving. By refusing help, you're denying others the chance to show up for you the way you show up for them. You're keeping your relationships one-sided and wondering why you feel alone. Today, identify one thing you need help with. One thing. Then reach out to one person who might be able to help. Use actual words: "I'm struggling with this. Can you help me?" You'll be amazed at what happens when you let your walls down. When you stop pretending to have it all together and just be human with other humans. Asking for help isn't giving up. It's wising up. It's recognizing that together is how we survive. 17. Spending more than you earn. That credit card swipe feels painless in the moment. That treat yourself purchase, that subscription you barely use, that impulse buy that will only go on the payment plan. You're not tracking it. Not really facing what you're spending versus what you're earning. Until the anxiety hits at 3 a.m. Until the statement arrives and your stomach drops. Until you realize you're living paycheck to paycheck, drowning in debt, with no cushion and no way out. Money isn't everything, but financial stress affects everything. Your sleep. Your relationships. Your mental health. Your ability to make choices based on what you want instead of what you can barely afford. Every dollar you spend beyond your means is a piece of future freedom you're selling. Future you is taking on the burden of present you's choices. And future you is tired. Future you is scared. Future you deserves better. Here's the hard truth: you can't spend your way to happiness. That temporary high from buying something new fades fast, leaving you with both the thing and the debt. Meanwhile, the peace of financial stability, being able to breathe, to plan, to weather an emergency, that's priceless. You don't need to be rich. You just need to live within your means. To track what's coming in and going out. To make choices that align with reality, not fantasy. Starting today, look at your bank account. Actually look. Face the numbers. Then make a simple budget. Income at the top. Necessities next. Savings, even if it's tiny. Then, only then, what's left for wants. Cut one unnecessary expense. Just one. Cancel that subscription. Skip that purchase. Pack your lunch. Small changes compound. You deserve financial peace. Not someday, now. And it starts with spending less than you earn. It's not exciting. But it's freedom. 18. Checking your phone too much. You reach for it without thinking. First thing in the morning, before your eyes fully open. During conversations. At red lights. In the bathroom. Before bed. You're scrolling through other people's lives while yours passes by unnoticed. You tell yourself you'll just check for a minute, and suddenly 20 minutes have evaporated into the void of endless content. You look up feeling vaguely anxious, oddly empty, and unable to remember what you even saw. Your phone has become a reflex. An escape. A way to avoid boredom, discomfort, or the present moment. But here's what you're losing: everything else. You're losing real conversations, eye contact, depth. You're losing the ability to sit with your own thoughts, to be comfortable in stillness. You're losing presence with the people you love who are physically there while you're mentally elsewhere. Your attention is being hijacked by algorithms designed to keep you hooked. Every notification, every infinite scroll, every like, it's engineered to capture you. And it's working. Meanwhile, your focus is fragmenting. Your patience is thinning. Your ability to think deeply, to concentrate, to be fully anywhere is eroding. You're becoming addicted to distraction. Here's your intervention: track your screen time today. Actually look at the number. Be honest about what you're trading for those hours. Then change one thing. Put your phone in another room while you eat. Turn off notifications. Create phone-free zones: no devices in bed, at the table, during the first and last hour of your day. Notice the withdrawal. The phantom buzzes. The instinct to reach for it. Sit with that discomfort. It passes. On the other side, you'll rediscover what it feels like to be present. To think without interruption. To connect without competing with screens. Your life is happening right now, right here. Look up. It's waiting for you. 19. Doubting your worth. You look at yourself and see all the ways you're not enough. Not smart enough, not attractive enough, not successful enough, not talented enough. Everyone else seems to have it figured out while you're just faking it, hoping no one discovers you're a fraud. That voice in your head is relentless. It catalogs every mistake, every flaw, every rejection. It tells you you're too much and not enough all at once. And you've been listening to it for so long you think it's telling the truth. But it's not. That voice is a liar. It's fear wearing the mask of self-protection. It thinks if it tears you down first, it'll hurt less when others do. But all it's actually doing is ensuring you never try, never risk, never fully show up. Here's what I need you to understand: your worth isn't conditional. It's not something you earn through achievement or lose through failure. You have intrinsic value simply because you exist. You don't have to prove anything. The people who love you, they don't love you because you're perfect. They love you because you're you, messy, imperfect, beautifully human you. Your quirks aren't flaws. Your struggles don't disqualify you. Your journey doesn't need to look like anyone else's. You've survived every hard thing that's happened to you so far. You've grown. You've adapted. You've kept going. That takes strength you don't give yourself credit for. Today, write down 3 things you're good at. Not extraordinary at, just competent. Then write 3 things you've overcome. Look at that evidence. You are capable. You are resilient. You are enough. Stop waiting to become worthy. You already are. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is the belief that you don't deserve it. You do. You always have. Start believing it. 20. Forgetting to thank people. Someone held the door. Someone listened to you vent. Someone helped you move. Someone made your coffee just right. Someone texted to check on you. Someone showed up when you needed them. And you barely noticed. You forgot to say thank you, or you said it so automatically it held no weight. You moved on to the next thing, leaving their kindness unacknowledged, their effort invisible. Here's what you don't realize: gratitude isn't just polite. It's powerful. When you thank someone genuinely, you're telling them they matter. That what they did made a difference. That they're seen. Everyone is fighting to feel significant. To know their presence, their contribution, their care makes a ripple. And your acknowledgement. That's the proof they're looking for. Think about the last time someone truly thanked you. Not a reflexive thanks, but a real, specific expression of gratitude. Remember how that felt? Like sun breaking through clouds. Like you'd done something worthwhile. You have the power to give that feeling to others. And it costs you nothing but attention. The barista who remembers your order. The colleague who covered for you. The friend who always picks up the phone. The parent who supported you. The stranger who smiled at exactly the right moment. They all deserve to be thanked. Not transactionally. Not as an obligation. But genuinely. Specifically. Thank you for _____. It meant _____ to me. Starting today, thank one person. Really thank them. Look them in the eye if you can. Send the text you've been meaning to send. Write the note. Make the call. Gratitude isn't just for them. It's for you. It shifts your focus from what's wrong to what's right. From what's missing to what's here. The people who show up for you are gifts. Treat them that way. Say thank you. Mean it. Watch how it changes everything. 21. Making promises you can't keep. I'll be there. I'll call you back. I'll get that done by Friday. I promise. The words leave your mouth so easily, carried by good intentions and the desire to make people happy. But then life happens. Distractions pile up. Time slips away. And suddenly you're scrambling, making excuses, or worse, ghosting entirely. Each broken promise chips away at something precious: trust. Not just others' trust in you, but your trust in yourself. Every commitment you fail to honor whispers to your subconscious that your word doesn't mean much. That you're unreliable. That you can't be counted on. And the people you make promises to, they remember. Maybe they don't say anything. Maybe they smile and say, it's okay. But they're learning to expect less from you. To not count on you. To protect themselves from the disappointment of believing you. Here's the hard part: you're not a bad person. You genuinely mean it when you say yes. But meaning it isn't enough. Intention without follow-through is just a beautiful lie. The problem is you're overestimating your future capacity. You're saying yes with tomorrow's imaginary time and energy, forgetting that tomorrow you will be just as overwhelmed as today you. Here's your new standard: underpromise and overdeliver. Before you commit, pause. Actually check your calendar, your capacity, your realistic ability to follow through. If there's any doubt, say, let me check and get back to you, instead of an automatic yes. And if you realize you can't keep a promise, communicate early. Apologize sincerely. Don't make excuses, just acknowledge the impact and do better next time. Your word is your currency. Protect it. Because once people stop believing what you say, it takes years to rebuild that trust. Say less. Mean more. Keep your promises sacred. 22. Avoiding tough talks. There's a conversation you need to have. Maybe with your partner about the distance growing between you. With your boss about the promotion or the workload. With your friend about the hurt they caused. With your parent about the unresolved pain. With yourself about the truth you keep running from. But instead of having it, you avoid. You hint. You hope they'll read your mind. You let resentment build like sediment in a river, slowly choking the flow. You tell yourself, it's not the right time, or, it'll just make things worse, or, maybe it'll resolve itself. But it won't. Difficult conversations don't go away, they just get harder. And every day you avoid them, the distance grows, the resentment deepens, the relationship suffers. Here's what you're really afraid of: conflict, rejection, the discomfort of vulnerability. You're afraid they'll get angry, defensive, or dismissive. You're afraid you'll cry, fumble your words, or make things awkward. You're afraid of what might change. But consider what staying silent is costing you. The energy you spend walking on eggshells. The intimacy you lose by keeping walls up. The resentment that poisons your connection. The respect you lose for yourself every time you swallow your truth. Avoiding tough talks doesn't keep the peace, it just postpones the inevitable breakdown. Here's how you start: pick the conversation that's weighing heaviest on your heart. Write down what you need to say, not to send, just to clarify your thoughts. Use "I feel" statements, not accusations. Focus on the issue, not attacking the person. Then schedule it. Actually set a time. Say, "I need to talk to you about something important." When's a good time? Yes, it'll be uncomfortable. Yes, it might not go perfectly. But on the other side of that conversation is clarity. Resolution. The possibility of real connection. And even if it doesn't go how you hoped, at least you'll know. At least you'll have honored yourself by speaking your. 23. Ignoring family time. They're always there, so you take them for granted. Your parents, your siblings, your partner, your kids. You assume there will be time later, after this project, after things settle down, after you're less busy. You're in the same house but on different planets, everyone absorbed in their screens, their schedules, their separate lives. Dinners are rushed or separate. Conversations are surface-level logistics. Quality time keeps getting postponed for more important things. And you tell yourself it's fine, everyone's busy, this is just how life is now. But here's what you're missing: these people won't be here forever. And neither will you. One day you'll wish desperately for one more conversation with someone who's gone. One more laugh with a sibling. One more hug from a parent. One more bedtime story with a child who's suddenly too old for them. And you'll realize with devastating clarity that you had thousands of opportunities that you squandered on work emails and social media scrolling. Your family doesn't need your perfection. They don't need expensive vacations or elaborate plans. They just need your presence. Your attention. Your time. That teenager rolling their eyes at you. They still want you to ask about their day. That parent you rarely call. They light up when they hear your voice. That partner sitting across from you. They're lonely, even though you're right there. Time with family isn't something you find, it's something you make. It's a choice. And every day you choose other things over them, you're choosing to miss out on the only things that will matter when you're at the end of your life looking back. Tonight, put your phone away. Have dinner together. Ask real questions. Listen to the answers. Play a game. Just be in the same space, actually present. Work will always be there. Opportunities will keep coming. But your family? These exact moments, with these exact people, at these exact ages. They're finite. They're fleeting. 24. Living without goals. You're drifting. Waking up, going through the motions, reacting to whatever comes your way. No destination in mind. No vision pulling you forward. Just existing. Day after day blurring into sameness, and you can't quite remember when you stopped dreaming about where you wanted to go. Maybe you think having goals is too much pressure. Or you've been disappointed before and decided it's safer not to want anything. Or you're so overwhelmed by daily survival that planning for the future feels impossible. But here's what living without goals actually does: it makes you a passenger in your own life. You end up wherever circumstance takes you, not where you actually want to be. And then you wake up years later wondering how you got here and why nothing feels meaningful. Goals aren't about pressure or perfection. They're about direction. They're the difference between wandering and traveling. Both involve moving, but only one gets you somewhere intentional. Without goals, you have no filter for decisions. Should you take that job? Learn that skill? End that relationship? Who knows, because you have no idea what you're building toward. Every choice feels equally random because nothing's connected to a larger vision. Goals give your days meaning. They transform mundane tasks into stepping stones. They help you say no to distractions and yes to growth. They give you something to wake up for beyond just getting through another day. Your goals don't have to be grand. You don't need to plan your whole life. Just pick one area: health, relationships, career, learning, and decide on one thing you want to move toward in the next 3 months. Not a vague wish. A specific, actionable goal. Write it down. Break it into small steps. Review it weekly. Adjust as needed. Because drifting is comfortable until you realize you've drifted somewhere you never wanted to be. Choose direction. Choose intention. Choose to live your life on purpose instead of by accident. 25. Skipping check UPS. You haven't been to the dentist in, you've lost count. That weird pain. You're ignoring it. Your annual physical. Postponed indefinitely. Vision blurring. You'll deal with it when it gets worse. That mole that changed. Probably nothing. You tell yourself you're too busy. Too healthy to need checkups. Too anxious about what they might find. Too broke to afford it. And besides, you feel mostly fine, so why poke the bear? Here's the terrifying truth: most serious health problems are silent in their early stages. Cancer doesn't announce itself. Heart disease develops quietly. Diabetes creeps in. By the time you feel something is wrong, it's often much harder to treat. Prevention and early detection save lives. They save quality of life. They save you from the nightmare of a diagnosis that could have been caught earlier when it was simpler, cheaper, less invasive to address. You're gambling with the only body you'll ever have. And the stakes? Everything. Your ability to be there for people you love. To pursue your dreams. To live without pain. To have a future that isn't dominated by managing preventable illness. That checkup you're avoiding might find nothing, and what a gift that is, to have peace of mind. Or it might find something early, when it's fixable. Either way, you win. Avoidance doesn't protect you. It just ensures you'll face problems when they're bigger. The anxiety you feel about making the appointment is temporary. The consequences of years of neglect can be permanent. Today, make one appointment. Just one. The dentist, the doctor, the eye exam, whatever you've been putting off. Put it on the calendar. Show up. It's 1 or 2 hours that could give you decades. Your future self is begging you. The people who love you are counting on you. Your body is worth taking care of before it's breaking down. Stop skipping checkups. Your health isn't something you can afford to ignore. 26. Thinking more means better. More hours worked means more productivity. More stuff means more happiness. More friends means more connection. More activities means more fulfillment. More. You're chasing quantity like it's a virtue, running yourself ragged in pursuit of an ever-expanding everything. But here's what you're discovering: you're exhausted. Your house is cluttered with things you don't use. Your calendar is full but your soul feels empty. You have hundreds of contacts but feel lonely. You're busy but not satisfied. Because more doesn't mean better. More often just means more overwhelm, more distraction, more surface, more noise. Quality beats quantity every single time. One deep conversation is worth 1,000 shallow ones. One meaningful project done with focus beats 10 half-finished tasks done in chaos. One beautiful, loved item is worth more than a closet full of things you barely notice. You've been measuring success by volume when you should be measuring by depth. By richness. By alignment with what actually matters to you. This applies to everything. You don't need to read more books, you need to fully absorb the ones you choose. You don't need more friends, you need to nurture the friendships that feed your soul. You don't need to work more hours, you need to work the right hours with full presence. The path forward isn't addition. It's subtraction. It's pruning away what doesn't serve you so what remains can flourish. Starting today, ask yourself, what if I did less, but did it better? What if I owned less, but loved it more? What if I had fewer commitments but showed up fully for them? Clear your calendar of obligations that drain you. Clear your space of objects that don't spark something in you. Clear your mind of the belief that more is the answer. Sometimes the best thing you can do is stop accumulating and start appreciating. Stop expanding and start deepening. Less, but better. That's where the richness lives. That's where p. 27. Wanting quick results. You want the body in 30 days. The wealth in 12 weeks. The skill in 1 weekend. The relationship healed in 1 conversation. You want the transformation without the process, the destination without the journey, the result without the repetition. And when progress is slow. When change is incremental. When you can't see results fast enough. You quit. You decide it's not working. You jump to the next quick fix, the next promise of overnight change. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear: anything worth having takes time. Real change is slow, unsexy, repetitive. It's showing up day after day when you can't see progress. It's trusting the process when the results aren't visible yet. You plant a seed and expect a tree by next week. That's not how growth works. The seed is underground doing invisible work, roots reaching, foundation building. Then one day, a sprout. Then slowly, a sapling. Years later, a tree. Every meaningful thing in your life happened this way. The skills you're proud of, you built them through repetitive practice, not overnight. The relationships that matter, you deepened them through consistent small moments, not grand gestures. The person you are today, you became them through years of tiny choices. Quick results are usually shallow results. The crash diet leads to regain. The get-rich-quick scheme leads to loss. The shortcuts skip the lessons you need for sustainable change. What if you shifted your expectation? What if instead of demanding results in weeks, you committed to the process for months, even years? What if you measured success not by dramatic transformation but by showing up consistently? Here's your new mantra: progress, not perfection. Consistency, not intensity. Small steps, not giant leaps. Commit to something for 90 days without measuring results. Just show up. Do the thing. Trust the process. Then look back and notice how far you've come without even realizing it. The time will pass anyway. 28. Being rude when tired. You snap at the cashier. You're short with your partner. You're impatient with your kids. Your tone is sharp, your words are harsh, and later you'll justify it with, "I was just tired," or "I'm stressed," as if exhaustion excuses cruelty. But here's what you're missing: the person on the receiving end of your rudeness doesn't know you're tired. They just know you hurt them. They just feel the sting of your words, the coldness of your tone, the dismissiveness of your attitude. Your fatigue is real. Your stress is valid. But it doesn't give you permission to make other people feel small. Your struggle doesn't entitle you to create struggle for others. That barista who got your order wrong. They're also tired. That partner who asked you a simple question. They were just trying to connect. That child who needed your attention. They didn't deserve your irritation. When you're rude to people because you're depleted, you're basically saying, "My discomfort is more important than your dignity." And that's not who you want to be. Here's the harder truth: if you're consistently rude when tired, you're consistently rude. Because you're always going to be tired sometimes. Life is tiring. Adulthood is exhausting. If you only have kindness when you're well rested, you'll rarely be kind. You need better coping strategies. When you feel that irritation rising, that impatience brewing, pause. Take 3 deep breaths. Remind yourself, this person doesn't deserve my worst just because I'm not at my best. If you can't be kind, at least be quiet. If you can't be patient, at least be polite. If you're too depleted to engage well, disengage gently. "I need a moment" is better than lashing out. And when you do snap, because you're human and it'll happen, apologize. Don't justify. Don't make excuses. Just, "I was rude. I'm sorry. You didn't deserve that." Your tiredness is temporary. The way you make people feel lingers. Choose kindness even when it's hard. 29. Letting fear stop you. Fear whispers in your ear constantly. Don't try, you'll fail. Don't speak up, they'll judge you. Don't start, you're not ready. Don't reach out, they'll reject you. And you listen. You stay small, stay safe, stay stuck. Every dream you've deferred, every opportunity you've passed, every risk you've avoided, fear was the common denominator. And you've convinced yourself that fear is protecting you. That it's keeping you safe from failure, embarrassment, pain. But here's what fear is actually doing: it's guaranteeing the very thing you're afraid of. Afraid of failure? By not trying, you ensure you'll never succeed. Afraid of rejection? By never reaching out, you guarantee loneliness. Afraid of judgment? By hiding, you disappear. Fear isn't safety. Fear is a prison with walls you've built yourself, and you're both the inmate and the guard. The life you want, the relationship, the career, the adventure, the growth, it's all on the other side of fear. And the only way through is through. There's no secret path that bypasses discomfort. There's no version of growth that doesn't require courage. Here's the shift: stop trying to eliminate fear. You can't. Fear is part of being human, of caring about outcomes, of wanting things to matter. Instead, change your relationship with it. Let fear be present, but don't let it drive. Feel the fear and do it anyway. The fear will be there. Do it anyway. You'll be nervous, uncertain, shaking. Do it anyway. Start small. Do one thing today that scares you a little. Send the email. Make the call. Have the conversation. Sign up for the thing. Each time you act despite fear, you prove to yourself that fear isn't the boss of you. And here's the beautiful part: courage is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. You'll regret the chances you didn't take far more than the ones that didn't work out. Stop letting fear rob you of your life. Feel it, acknowledge it, then do the thing anyway. 30. Staying in bad jobs. You're miserable at your job. Every Sunday, dread creeps in. Every morning, you hit snooze, trying to delay another day in a place that drains your soul. You stay because it's stable, because you need the paycheck, because starting over feels impossible. You tell yourself it's responsible, but it's not. It's reckless. Reckless with your mental health, your potential, and the only life you get. A bad job doesn't just waste your time, it erodes you. It chips away at your confidence, your creativity, and your hope. It convinces you that misery is the price of security. It makes you forget what it feels like to wake up excited about your day. You think you're surviving, but you're slowly teaching yourself to settle. Yes, but I need the money. Of course. And you'll still need money in 5 years, but by then, you might have even less energy, less courage, less belief that something better exists. Financial need doesn't disappear, but your spirit can. You don't have to quit tomorrow. But you do have to start planning your exit today. Update your resume. Learn new skills. Network. Save what you can. Apply. Take even the smallest steps toward freedom. Each action, however small, reminds you that you still have choices. While you plan, protect yourself. Set boundaries. Don't carry the toxicity home. Find meaning outside of work. Remember, this job isn't your identity, it's just where you are right now. You only get one life. Spending most of it unhappy isn't noble, it's tragic. You deserve work that respects you and challenges you without destroying your peace. So, start planning your escape. You're not stuck, you're just scared. Be scared and move anyway. Your future self is waiting for you to be brave enough to leave. 31. Not saving for later. You spend every paycheck as it comes, promising yourself you'll start saving later, when you earn more, when life calms down. But somehow, no matter how much you make, there's never anything left. Every dollar already has a destination: bills, groceries, small rewards, surprise expenses. Saving always feels like a task for future you. But future you will show up, and they'll face the same struggles, only without a safety net. That car repair, that medical bill, that job loss, those will hit harder because past you didn't prepare. Not saving isn't just about money, it's about freedom. Every dollar saved buys you choices: the power to leave a toxic job, take a risk, or survive a storm without breaking. You don't need to save a fortune, you need to start. Even $20 per paycheck matters. Even 5% of your income builds momentum. The habit is more powerful than the amount. So make it automatic. Transfer a small amount to savings the moment you get paid. Before you spend a cent, treat it like a bill you owe your future self. Start tiny, so tiny you barely feel it, and never touch it except for true emergencies. Then, trim one unnecessary expense. Cancel that unused subscription. Skip one impulse buy. That small sacrifice funds your security and peace of mind. Your future is coming whether you plan for it or not. Saving gives you options, confidence, and calm. Start today, even if it's small. Because small, done consistently, grows into substantial, and substantial becomes freedom. 32. Judging others too quickly. You see someone and instantly create their story, their clothes, tone, job, choices, and decide who they are. The person struggling with weight. Lazy. The parent with a screaming child. Incompetent. The quiet coworker. Rude. You judge without knowing a thing about their reality. But everyone carries unseen battles. That lazy person might live with chronic pain. That bad parent might be handling a child's special needs. That cold coworker could be grieving. That incompetent employee might be overwhelmed but trying. Quick judgments aren't insight, they're ignorance disguised as certainty. And they cost you empathy, connection, and understanding. We judge others by their actions but ourselves by our intentions. We excuse our struggles yet condemn others for theirs. That's not fairness, it's hypocrisy. So shift the habit. Get curious instead of judgmental. When you catch yourself assuming, pause and ask, what else could be true? What might I not know? Try the generous interpretation, the one that believes most people are doing the best they can. Remember, you're seeing a single frame of someone's complex story, not the whole picture. Before you judge, remember, you haven't lived their life. That judgment you pass so easily says more about you than them. It reflects your biases and insecurities, not their worth. Replace judgment with curiosity. Replace assumptions with questions. Replace criticism with compassion. You'll be wrong about people far less often, and you'll build deeper, kinder connections. People can always tell when you truly see them, instead of the story you've invented about them. 33. Giving up too soon. You started with enthusiasm. The new skill, the diet, the project, the relationship, the business, it felt exciting, possible, meant to be. Then it got hard. Progress slowed. Obstacles appeared. The initial rush faded into the tedium of daily effort. And you quit. Not because it was wrong for you. Not because you genuinely wanted to stop. But because it stopped being easy, and you've confused hard with wrong. You tell yourself stories, it wasn't meant to be. I'm not cut out for this. If it were right, it wouldn't be this difficult. But those stories are just comfortable lies that protect you from the discomfort of persisting. Here's the truth, everything worth doing has a middle. The messy, unglamorous middle where results are invisible and doubt is loud. Where you're no longer a beginner riding the high of newness, but not yet experienced enough to see the payoff. This is where most people quit. Right before the breakthrough. The writer who stops at chapter 3 never finishes the book. The person who quits the gym after 2 weeks never gets fit. The entrepreneur who closes shop at the first setback never builds a business. They all gave up in the middle, not knowing how close they were. Difficulty isn't a sign you're on the wrong path. Often, it's a sign you're exactly where you need to be, in the growth zone, where transformation happens. Easy doesn't build character, skill, or resilience. Struggle does. Here's how you persist: expect the middle to be hard. Plan for it. When it arrives, remind yourself, this is normal. This is where the real work happens. This is the valley between peaks. Shrink the goal. Instead of write a book, commit to write for 20 minutes today. Instead of lose 50 pounds, focus on make one healthy choice right now. Small, repeated actions compound. And ask yourself, what would happen if I gave this 6 more months? 1 more year? What if I pushed through this hard part to see what's on the other side? 34. Keeping secrets that hurt. There's something you're hiding, a mistake, an addiction, a truth you're afraid to speak. You tell yourself keeping it secret protects you or others, that it keeps things together. But really, it's tearing you apart. It's the weight on your chest at 3 a.m., the wall between you and those you love, the shame that thrives in the dark, whispering that you're broken. Secrets that hurt don't protect anyone, they isolate everyone. They keep you from help, from healing, from being fully seen. You act fine, but the silence eats away at your peace. And those you think you're protecting, they already sense something's wrong. Their imagination often paints something worse than the truth. Shame lives in secrecy. The moment you bring your truth into the light, into trusted ears, it starts to lose its grip. Secrets convince you you're uniquely terrible, but when someone says, "Me too," or "I'm here," that illusion breaks. The prison door opens. You don't need to tell everyone, just someone safe. A therapist, a trusted friend, a support group. Start small. There's something I need to tell you, and I'm scared to say it. Then say it. The moment you share, the burden begins to lift. The secret you're guarding isn't saving your life, it's stealing it. It drains your energy, your joy, your ability to connect. You deserve to be known and loved as you are. The right people will meet your honesty with compassion, the ones who don't simply reveal their limits. Let the secret go. Let the light in. Healing begins the moment you stop carrying it alone. 35. Overplanning, underdoing. Your notebook is full of color-coded plans, detailed schedules, and flawless strategies. You've researched every angle, anticipated every obstacle, mapped out every step. It's brilliant, except it's still on paper. You keep refining, tweaking, and perfecting instead of starting. You've convinced yourself that more planning equals more success, that you can't begin until the plan is perfect. But deep down, you're hiding behind the safety of planning. It feels productive without the risk of failure. Planning is possibility, doing is vulnerability. Doing is messy. It exposes your flaws, your limits, your uncertainty. But only through action do you learn, grow, and improve. A perfect plan that never happens is fantasy, an imperfect action that happens is progress. The people who succeed aren't the best planners, they're the best doers. They start before they're ready, adjust as they go, and learn from experience, not imagination. Have a business idea? Launch a simple version. Want to write? Start the messy first draft. Fitness goal. Begin with one workout. Difficult conversation. Have it now, imperfectly. Waiting for the perfect moment is just another form of delay. Make this your rule: for every hour spent planning, spend 2 doing. Action reveals what planning can't, what works, what doesn't, and what matters. Stop polishing the plan. Stop researching endlessly. Stop waiting for ideal conditions, they'll never arrive. Start small. Start messy. Start now. Because done imperfectly always beats perfectly planned but never started. The world doesn't need another flawless plan. It needs your action, your courage, your effort. Stop overplanning your life, and start living it. 36. Staying up too late. It's midnight and you whisper, just 5 more minutes. One more episode, one more scroll, one more distraction instead of sleep. You know tomorrow you will regret it, but you do it anyway. Night after night, the same cycle: stay up too late, wake up tired, swear you'll change, repeat. Why? Because nighttime feels like the only time that's truly yours, no demands, no noise, just freedom. But you're stealing time from rest to buy back a few moments of control. You're robbing Peter to pay Paul, and both end up exhausted. Chronic sleep deprivation isn't harmless, it's wrecking you. It dulls your focus, wrecks your mood, weakens your immune system, and fuels anxiety and depression. Tasks that would take an hour with a rested mind now take 3. You're trading tomorrow's clarity for tonight's comfort, and the debt always comes due. That me time you guard so tightly could exist elsewhere, earlier in the evening, or in the morning, if you restructured your day. But instead, you cling to the late hours, too tired to even enjoy them. Your body needs 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Not wants, needs. This is non-negotiable biology. Every night you short yourself, you accumulate a sleep debt that compounds, paid in exhaustion, irritability, and declining health. So here's your reset: set a bedtime. An actual one. Then work backward: when do screens go off? When do you start winding down? Build a buffer: 30 minutes with no phones, no stimulation. Read, stretch, journal, breathe. Let your system slow down. Try going to bed 1 hour earlier, just tonight. Feel how different tomorrow feels. Notice how much better you think, work, and feel when you're rested. Then make it your new normal. Your late nights aren't worth your drained days. Sleep isn't laziness, it's maintenance. It's when your body heals, your mind restores, and your life rebalances. Respect it. Prioritize it. Future you is begging you to go to bed. 37. Taking advice too blindly. Someone tells you how to live, and you listen. A book defines success, and you chase it. An influencer recommends something, and you buy it. A friend insists what you should do, and you obey. Slowly, you stop steering your own life and start following maps drawn for someone else. You think you're being smart, learning from others, standing on the shoulders of giants, but what you're really doing is silencing your own inner compass. You forget to ask, what do I actually want? What feels true for me? What fits my values and circumstances? Not all advice is good advice. What worked for them might be a disaster for you. The person telling you to hustle nonstop might have privileges you don't. The one urging you to quit your job may have had a safety net you lack. The person who cuts people off easily might just fear confrontation. Their stories aren't your story. Advice is personal experience dressed up as universal truth, and when you try to follow everyone's wisdom, you end up overwhelmed, confused, and disconnected from your own judgment. Here's what to do: filter advice through you. When someone tells you what you should do, pause and ask, does this feel right for me? Does it align with my values and reality? Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. No guru, influencer, or expert knows your life better than you. They haven't lived your days or carried your burdens. Listen, learn, but decide for yourself. Advice should inform you, not control you. Trust yourself more. You've been living your life every day, you know more than you realize. The real guidance isn't out there, it's already inside you. Tune in. Honor it. Follow your own knowing. That's where your true path begins. 38. Forgetting hobbies. Remember when you used to paint, play guitar, read for fun, or cook just for joy? You once had hobbies that existed purely because they made you feel alive. No goals, no audience, no productivity attached, just simple pleasure. Then life happened. Work expanded, responsibilities piled up, and hobbies became extras you'd get back to someday. But someday never came. Now you work, handle obligations, scroll, and collapse. The things that once lit you up are gathering dust, and you wonder why you feel empty. Hobbies aren't indulgences, they're nourishment. They remind you that you're more than your job or your to-do list. They connect you with creativity, curiosity, and play. They restore the part of you that exists beyond output and obligation. When you neglect your hobbies, you neglect parts of yourself. The painter, the musician, the reader, they're still in there, waiting. You don't need more rest, you need more aliveness. Your life can't just be work and recovery, it needs engagement, moments where time disappears and joy returns. So here's your challenge: choose one hobby. The one that tugs at you when you think about it. Schedule it, 30 minutes a week. Put it on your calendar like a meeting you can't skip. Don't wait for free time, make time. Protect it fiercely. Show up for your joy the way you show up for your job. Because this isn't trivial, it's essential. It's how you come back to yourself. Stop waiting for later. Your life is now. Pick up the guitar, open the book, mix the paints. Reclaim what makes you you. Your hobbies are calling you home. 39. Being online all the time. Your phone is always within reach. You scroll while eating, talking, watching TV, lying in bed, while living. You're never fully present anywhere because part of you is always online, tethered to notifications, updates, and other people's lives. You tell yourself you're staying connected or informed, but hours vanish. Conversations fade. Moments pass. Life unfolds right in front of you, and you miss it because you're too busy watching everyone else live theirs. Constant online time isn't connection, it's distraction. It's avoidance. It's a way to escape your thoughts, your boredom, your feelings. Scrolling is easier than sitting with discomfort, but it's costing you presence, peace, and depth. Here's what's slipping away: your ability to think deeply, to be creative, to feel calm. Real conversations, undistracted attention, the simple joy of noticing the world around you. Your relationships suffer because people feel when you're half there. Your mind suffers under endless comparison, outrage, and stimulation. You weren't built for this much input. Here's your reset: create real boundaries. No phones at meals. No screens an hour before bed. No scrolling first thing in the morning. Schedule phone-free time and protect it. Delete the apps that drain your time. Turn off notifications. Leave your phone in another room. Make checking it inconvenient. At first, you'll feel the withdrawal, the reflex to reach for it, the discomfort of stillness. Stay with it. It will pass. And then something shifts. You'll start to feel present again. You'll read a page without distraction. You'll listen fully in conversation. You'll notice the sky, the quiet, your own thoughts. You don't have to abandon the online world, just stop living in it. Step back into real life. It's still here, waiting for your full attention. 40. Not learning new things. You've stopped growing. Same routines, same thoughts, same conversations. You've decided you know enough, and everything else feels irrelevant or exhausting. But the truth is, the moment you stop learning, you start fading. Not physically, but mentally and emotionally. You become stagnant, rigid, certain, and certainty kills curiosity. Learning isn't just for school, it's how you stay alive inside. It keeps your mind flexible, your perspective open, your spirit curious. It's how you evolve with a world that's constantly changing. Every new thing you learn, no matter how small, expands your capacity for empathy, creativity, and adaptability. You say you don't have time. But you have time to scroll, binge, and repeat old habits. What you lack isn't time, it's discomfort tolerance. Growth requires the courage to be a beginner again. To be awkward, uncertain, and humble enough to admit you don't know. That's not weakness, it's evolution. You say you're too old. But your brain can learn until your last breath. Neuroplasticity doesn't expire. You're not too old, you're just out of practice. So here's your challenge, pick one new thing to learn this month. A language, an instrument, a craft, a subject you've always been curious about. Watch tutorials, take a class, read something outside your usual comfort zone. Talk to people who see the world differently. Seek out what confuses you instead of avoiding it. Stay curious. Stay humble. Stay open to being wrong. Because when you stop learning, you stop expanding, and you begin to shrink into what you already know. Keep learning. Keep growing. Keep becoming. The moment you decide you're done, you stop being alive in the ways that matter most. 41. Avoiding responsibility. Something goes wrong, and your reflex is to explain it away, someone else's fault, bad timing, unfair circumstances. It feels easier to protect your ego than to admit your part. But every time you dodge responsibility, you hand over your power. You're saying, I can't change anything. And people who believe that never do. Blame feels safe because it spares you discomfort. But that safety is a cage. If nothing is your fault, then nothing is within your control to fix. You stay stuck, waiting for life to improve on its own. Yes, circumstances matter. People hurt you. Systems fail you. Luck isn't equal. All true. But also true, you are responsible for your response. For what you choose to do next. For the effort you bring to the table, even when things aren't fair. Responsibility isn't punishment, it's power. It's the difference between, I can't, and, I'll figure it out. When you own your part, you reclaim control. You can learn, adapt, improve. You stop being a passenger in your own life and become the driver again. Here's your reset. The next time something goes wrong, pause before blaming. Ask, what part of this was mine? Not to shame yourself, but to locate your leverage. That's where growth begins. Stop making excuses. Stop waiting for someone else to make it right. Take responsibility for your mindset, your actions, your direction. It's hard to admit you're the one who has to change. But it's also freeing. Because if you caused some of it, you can change some of it. You're not powerless, you're in charge. Own it. Fix what you can. Learn what you must. That's how responsibility turns into freedom. 42. Ignoring your gut feeling. Something feels off, you can't explain it, but there's a pull in your chest, a quiet voice saying, something's not right. And you ignore it. You reason your way out of it, tell yourself you're overreacting. You listen to others instead of yourself. Then later, when things fall apart, you think, I knew. That was your gut speaking, the subconscious processing signals your conscious mind hasn't caught yet. It's not magic or paranoia. It's intuition built from experience, memory, instinct. It's your body noticing before your brain understands. That uneasy feeling about a person, job, or situation. Your gut saw something your logic missed. But society trains you to trust facts, not feelings. To silence the whisper and obey reason. So you override it, until you can't even hear it anymore. Your gut isn't infallible, but it's valuable. It's data, nonverbal, emotional data. When it speaks, pause. Don't dismiss it, investigate it. Ask, what is this feeling pointing to? Maybe it's caution. Maybe it's clarity. Maybe it's wisdom. Learn the difference between fear and intuition. Fear is loud, panicky, and dramatic. Intuition is quiet, grounded, and sure. Fear warns of what could happen, intuition signals what is happening. Start rebuilding trust with yourself. When you feel that inner nudge, acknowledge it. Follow it in small ways. Test it. Over time, you'll remember how to hear it clearly again. Your intuition is a built-in compass, one that's guided you through more than you realize. Stop silencing it. Listen. It might not shout, but it always knows. 43. Skipping chances to forgive. You're carrying grudges like armor, replaying every hurt, every betrayal, every disappointment. You tell yourself they don't deserve forgiveness, that letting go means letting them win. But in reality, the only one still suffering is you. Unforgiveness doesn't punish them, it imprisons you. They've likely moved on, while you're still bound to the pain, reliving it like a loop you can't escape. Every time you revisit it, you reopen the wound. You're not protecting yourself, you're poisoning your peace. Forgiveness isn't saying what happened was okay. It's not forgetting, excusing, or reconciling. It's choosing to stop carrying the burden. It's reclaiming your energy from the past. It's saying, this no longer controls me. Holding on feels like strength, but true strength is in release. In saying, you hurt me, but you no longer have power here. That's not weakness, it's liberation. Some people will never apologize. Some won't understand, or change, or make it right. If your peace depends on them, you'll wait forever. Forgiveness isn't for them, it's for you. It's how you stop being defined by what happened and start living again. You don't have to forget. You don't have to trust again. You just have to stop feeding the story that keeps you stuck. Every moment spent in resentment is a moment stolen from joy. So today, choose one person or situation to release. Acknowledge the hurt. Then, quietly, decide you're done carrying it. You're not erasing the past, you're freeing yourself from it. Forgiveness isn't weakness. It's reclaiming your life. Let go, not for them, but for you. 44. Refusing to say sorry. You messed up, and you know it. But instead of saying, I'm sorry, you stay silent or twist it into something hollow. I'm sorry you feel that way. You tell yourself it wasn't that bad, or that they hurt you too. You justify, deflect, protect your pride. But underneath, you know the truth, you're avoiding vulnerability. Refusing to apologize doesn't make you strong, it makes you small. It says, my ego matters more than this relationship. Every time you choose pride over accountability, the distance grows. Trust erodes. Connection fades. A real apology is simple, not scripted. I'm sorry. I was wrong. I hurt you. It wasn't okay. No excuses. No but. Just ownership. That's where healing starts, for them, and for you. Apologizing doesn't make you weak. It makes you brave. It takes courage to look at your own mistakes without running from them. When you own your actions, you stop defending your image and start repairing your integrity. And if they don't accept it, that's okay. You can't control their response, only your responsibility. What matters is that you did the right thing. Because when you never apologize, you become rigid, defensive, unteachable. You lose relationships and self-respect in the name of being right. That's not strength, that's fear wearing armor. So think of the person you hurt. The one you still replay in your mind. Reach out. Say the words. Mean them. Then back them up with changed behavior. Apologizing doesn't erase the past, but it opens the door to a better future. Drop the pride. Say sorry. Not for approval, but for growth. 45. Pretending to be someone else. You play different roles for different rooms, the work version, the family version, the social media version, the one built to impress. You adjust your words, your laugh, your opinions, even your clothes to fit what you think people want. And somewhere between all those versions, you've misplaced yourself. You pretend because the real you feels risky. You fear rejection more than exhaustion, so you keep performing. You laugh at things you don't find funny, nod along when you disagree, post what looks right, not what feels real. You're chasing acceptance by becoming someone you're not. But pretending has a cost. It drains you. You start forgetting what you actually think, what you actually like. And even when you're surrounded by people, you feel alone, because the connection they have isn't with you, it's with your mask. Authenticity feels dangerous because it's honest. But it's the only way to be known. The love you earn through pretending is conditional, it only lasts as long as the act does. The love that comes when you're real. That's the kind that stays. Here's the truth, you don't need to be everyone's version of likable. You need to be your version of honest. The right people will recognize you when you stop hiding. The wrong ones will fade away, and that's not loss, it's clarity. Start small. Speak one true opinion. Dress how you want. Say what you actually mean. Do one thing today that feels like you. Notice the peace that follows when you stop performing. The world doesn't need another edited version. It needs your real presence, your quirks, your depth, your truth. Stop pretending to be someone else. The real you is more than enough. 46. Living only for weekends. You wake up on Monday already longing for Friday. The week feels like an obstacle course, 5 days to endure before you're finally allowed to live. You survive the weekdays, then try to cram joy, rest, and meaning into a 2-day window. And just like that, most of your life becomes something to get through instead of something to experience. Here's the math you don't want to face: if you live only for weekends, you're wishing away 71% of your time. 5 out of 7 days dismissed as background noise. But those days are your life too. Mondays count. Tuesdays count. Every ordinary Wednesday holds moments you'll never get back, small joys, quiet wins, fleeting beauty that passes unnoticed while you're waiting for real life to start. If weekends feel like freedom, it's a sign that something's off in how you're living the rest of the week. You can't build a fulfilling life on 2 days out of 7. You don't need a perfect job or endless leisure, you just need meaning sprinkled through the everyday. Start small. Add one thing that makes a weekday lighter: a walk before work, music on your commute, a hobby in the evening, a proper lunch away from your desk. Protect your energy, not just your time. Notice what's good even when it's ordinary. Happiness doesn't have to wait until Friday night. The life you keep waiting to start is already here, in your Monday coffee, your midweek laughter, your quiet Thursday evening. Stop surviving 5 days to live 2. Start living all 7. 47. Overthinking small choices. You're standing there, frozen between 2 perfectly fine options: 2 shirts, 2 meals, 2 routes, 2 shows. You weigh every tiny detail like it's a major life decision. You compare, predict, overanalyze, and spiral into indecision until even the smallest choice feels impossible. But here's the truth: most of these decisions don't really matter. The restaurant, the outfit, the playlist, they're reversible, fixable, forgettable. Yet you treat them like they're world-altering. That's not wisdom, it's anxiety disguised as careful thinking. It's perfectionism pretending to be responsibility. Every minute you spend overthinking a small decision is time and energy stolen from the things that actually matter. While you're agonizing over which message sounds best, someone else has already sent theirs and moved on. Overthinking doesn't make better choices, it just makes slower ones. Here's what high performers understand: not every choice deserves equal attention. They decide small things fast. If it's low stakes, reversible, or easily corrected, they give it 2 minutes, then act. Wrong coffee order. You'll survive. Wrong show. Turn it off. Wrong route. You'll still get there. The goal isn't perfect decisions, it's progress. Each quick choice frees your mind for what really deserves deep thought: your values, relationships, health, purpose. So here's your new rule: if the decision won't matter a week from now, decide now. If it can be undone, decide now. If it's small, decide now. Then move forward. The world won't collapse if you pick the wrong option, but your peace of mind will if you keep wasting energy on trivial ones. Stop treating every choice like a crisis. Decide, act, adjust. That's how life moves forward. Most choices aren't big enough to deserve your stress. Just pick one, and keep living. 48. Not taking breaks. You keep pushing, one task after another, no pause, no breath, no break. You tell yourself rest is weakness, that stopping means falling behind. So you power through fatigue, through headaches, through that dull mental fog that keeps thickening. Until finally, you crash, burned out, bitter, and wondering why you can't sustain a pace that no human actually can. Here's the truth, breaks aren't wasted time. They're maintenance. They're how your mind refuels and your body resets. You're not built to focus endlessly or sit still for 8 straight hours. Your brain needs rhythm, work, rest, recover. Without it, focus fades, mistakes multiply, and what once took 30 minutes now takes an hour. You think you're being productive, but you're actually running on fumes. Science backs it up. Short, intentional breaks boost accuracy, creativity, and memory. 5 minutes of walking. Stretching. Looking out the window. Breathing deeply. These tiny pauses don't derail your productivity, they sustain it. But hustle culture has lied to you. It told you rest is for the lazy. That real success means exhaustion. That your worth is measured by output. So you ignore the signals, tight shoulders, tired eyes, scattered thoughts, until your body forces the break for you through burnout, illness, or total shutdown. That's not discipline. That's self-sabotage. Here's a better system, take a real break every 90 minutes. Not scrolling your phone, step away, move, hydrate, breathe. Protect your lunch break like it's sacred. Don't eat while working, let your mind reset. And when you're tired, rest. Don't mask it with caffeine or guilt. That's just borrowing energy from tomorrow. You're not a machine. Even machines need maintenance. Taking breaks isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's how you honor your limits and protect your ability to keep going. So pause. Reset. Then return sharper, calmer, and stronger. Because real productivity isn't about never stopping, it's about knowing when to. 49. Forgetting old memories. Your phone's full of photos you never open. Old journals sit untouched. Boxes of letters, tickets, and keepsakes collect dust. You're so focused on what's next that you've stopped looking back, and your memories are quietly slipping away. You think you'll always remember, but memory fades. The details blur, the emotions dull, the moments that once shaped you dissolve into vagueness. And with every forgotten memory, you lose small pieces of who you've been. Your past isn't just behind you, it's part of you. It's the record of your growth, your resilience, your joy, your lessons. It's the story of how you became who you are. When you stop remembering, you disconnect from that story. You forget the strength that got you through hard times and the beauty that made the good ones matter. Those memories, good and bad, deserve attention. The child who dreamed. The teen who struggled. The young adult who tried and failed and learned. Every version of you deserves to be remembered, not buried under what's next. Make remembering a ritual. Once a month, revisit your past. Scroll through old photos, read a journal entry, open that dusty box. Let yourself feel what you felt then. Notice your growth. Notice what stayed. Notice what you've released. Share stories with people you love. Tell them who you were before they met you. Speak your memories aloud so they stay alive. Life isn't just about moving forward, it's about carrying forward. Every phase, every person, every moment built the foundation beneath you. Don't let it fade. Because one day, memories will be all that remains, the laughter, the lessons, the faces, the moments that made your life yours. Keep them close. Honor them. Forgetting your past isn't strength. It's self-erasure. Remember, because your story deserves to be remembered. 50. Avoiding failure at all costs. You don't try because you might fail. You don't speak up because you might be wrong. You don't start because you might not finish. You've built your life around avoiding failure, so much that nothing ever goes wrong, but nothing ever happens either. You call it being smart or realistic, but but what you're really doing is guaranteeing the one failure that truly matters, never discovering what you're capable of. Everyone who's ever achieved anything has failed, again and again. The difference isn't luck or talent, it's that they don't fear failure. They treat it as feedback, not finality. As direction, not disaster. You've made failure your enemy when it's actually your teacher. You treat it like proof that you're not good enough, when really it's proof that you're trying, living, learning, growing. Failure isn't who you are. It's just something that happens. By avoiding failure, you also avoid growth. You stick to what's safe, what's known, what you've already mastered. You trade progress for comfort, confidence for control. But perfection isn't possible, and chasing it only keeps you stuck. The people you admire most have failed more times than you've dared to try. They succeed because they keep getting up. They try again. They learn, adapt, move forward. Every failure sharpens them. Your fear of failure is failing you. It's keeping you small, quiet, and untested. But everything meaningful, a relationship, a dream, a leap forward, carries the risk of falling short. You can't live fully without risking failure. So this week, do something you might not nail on the first try. Speak up. Apply. Create. Attempt. Let the outcome be uncertain. That's where growth begins. And if you fail, good. You've proven that you're brave enough to try. You've learned something success could never teach you. Stop dodging failure. Start embracing it. Because the only true failure is the life you never dared to live. 51. Not celebrating little wins. You finished the task, but it wasn't flawless. You worked out, but only for 20 minutes. You handled a tough situation well, but not perfectly. You made progress, but not as much as you hoped. So, you skipped the celebration and jumped straight to the next challenge. You tell yourself it's not worth acknowledging until it's bigger, better, more impressive. You see only what's missing, never what's been done. The result? You rob yourself of joy, motivation, and the satisfaction that keeps you going. When you never pause to celebrate, you teach yourself that nothing you do is ever enough. You move through life constantly chasing, never arriving. You measure progress by how far you have left to go instead of how far you've come, and that's a recipe for burnout. Here's the truth, little wins are the journey. Every major milestone is just a series of small, consistent victories stacked together. A book is written page by page. A habit is built day by day. A goal is achieved one choice at a time. Celebrating small wins doesn't mean lowering your standards, it means recognizing that progress deserves acknowledgement. It tells your brain, this effort counts. Keep going. That small dose of pride fuels momentum far more than constant self-criticism ever will. So make it a daily practice, at the end of each day, name 3 small wins. They don't need to be huge, sending that email, showing up even when you didn't want to, eating something healthy, staying calm when you could have snapped. Say them out loud. Write them down. Feel that quiet sense of pride before you move on. You're not celebrating because everything is perfect, you're celebrating because you're trying. Because you're showing up. Because you're still in the game. Stop waiting for the grand finale to feel proud. The little wins are the story. Notice them. Celebrate them. That's how progress feels like joy, not just pressure. 52. Keeping expectations too high. You expect yourself to nail everything, no mistakes, no off days, no flaws. Every plan should unfold perfectly, every effort should impress, every moment should meet your ideal. You expect others to show up just right too, always thoughtful, always understanding, always aligned with what you hoped for. But reality doesn't work like that. It's messy, unpredictable, human. And when life inevitably falls short, you feel frustrated and let down, not because things went wrong, but because your expectations made wrong inevitable. Here's the truth, it's not life failing you, it's your unrealistic expectations setting you up to fail. You've confused standards with expectations. Standards are about giving your best with integrity. Expectations are about demanding outcomes you can't fully control, and suffering when they don't match your script. Perfectionism doesn't lead to excellence, it leads to exhaustion. Nothing and no one can live up to a fantasy version of reality. You'll always find flaws if you're looking for them. And in chasing perfect, you miss what's already good, the relationship that's real, the work that's meaningful, the body that's capable, the day that's quietly okay. Start adjusting the lens. Expect less. Appreciate more. Stop demanding perfection, notice effort. Stop assuming others should read your mind, communicate. Stop waiting for flawless days, cherish the ordinary good ones. Perfection isn't the goal. Presence is. Gratitude is. Grace is. Lower your expectations of outcomes, raise your respect for effort. Give yourself, and others, permission to be human. Life feels lighter when you stop fighting its imperfections and start loving it as it is. 53. Spending energy on gossip. You're in a conversation that's really just a complaint circle, talking about who did what, who failed where, who's annoying whom. It feels good in the moment, connection, validation, the rush of being in the know. But later, there's a residue, guilt, heaviness, regret. Because gossip always leaves something sour behind. Gossip is wasted energy. It keeps your focus on other people's lives instead of your own. It's using someone's flaws or pain as entertainment, building shallow connection by tearing others down. Every minute you spend gossiping is a minute stolen from your goals, your peace, your growth. And here's the truth you don't want to face: if they gossip with you, they gossip about you. That false sense of trust built on shared judgment. It's temporary. Nobody truly trusts someone who can't stay loyal in conversation. Gossip says more about the gossiper than the subject. It reveals insecurity, a need to feel superior, a fear of directness, a habit of avoiding your own reflection. When you notice that impulse, use it as a cue to turn inward, not outward. Redirect your energy. Talk to people, not about them. Replace judgment with curiosity, criticism with compassion. Build connection through shared values, not shared negativity. When gossip starts, draw a line. Change the subject. Say, let's not talk about them. Or just walk away. Protect your peace. And when you feel tempted to gossip, pause and ask. Is this kind? Is this necessary? Is this my business? If not, silence is stronger. Use your words to build, not break. Your time and energy are too precious to waste on tearing others down. Rise above gossip, and watch your life feel lighter, cleaner, and infinitely freer. 54. Ignoring good habits. You already know what makes you feel better: drink water, move your body, sleep enough, eat well, show gratitude, read, connect. None of it's a mystery. Yet you keep skipping the habits that help you and choosing the ones that drain you. One more coffee instead of water. One more episode instead of sleep. One more, I'll start Monday. But Monday comes, and nothing changes. You're not lazy, you're human. Your brain craves comfort now and resists effort that pays off later. Scrolling feels easier than exercising. Junk food tastes better than vegetables. Resting feels nicer than sweating. But those tiny, easy choices compound into exhaustion, fog, and frustration. The truth is, the habits you ignore are the foundation for everything you want: clarity, focus, health, peace. You can't build a strong life on weak routines. Motivation won't magically appear, action creates motivation. You move first, the feeling follows. So start small. 1 push-up. 1 glass of water. 5 pages of reading. 1 deep breath. The size doesn't matter, the consistency does. Tiny habits practiced daily outlast grand plans you never begin. Anchor new habits to ones you already have. After brushing your teeth, stretch. After your coffee, write 1 grateful thought. After getting into bed, read a page. Make your habits part of your rhythm, not a separate project. And stop waiting for the perfect time. There isn't one. The right time is now: tired, busy, unready now. Starting imperfectly still beats not starting at all. You know what works. You've always known. So stop waiting, stop promising, and start doing. Even a little progress is progress. Your future self is watching, and will thank you for beginning today. 55. Being busy but not happy. Your schedule is full, your to-do list endless. You're constantly moving, producing, checking boxes, yet you feel drained, not fulfilled. Because busy isn't the same as happy. You can do everything right and still feel wrong inside. You've mistaken motion for progress, activity for meaning. Busyness has become your proof of worth. If you're not rushing, you feel like you're failing. But that constant doing keeps you from asking the real question: am I spending my time on what actually matters to me? Most of your energy goes to obligations that don't align with your values, commitments you agreed to out of guilt, tasks that maintain your image but starve your joy. You're busy with everything except yourself. And busy has become your identity. You can't rest without guilt, can't leave space in your day without feeling unproductive. Here's the truth: you can be busy your whole life and miss your life entirely. The small moments you rush past, playing, connecting, breathing, that is the life you're skipping. Happiness doesn't come from doing more, it comes from doing what matters. From alignment between your time and your values. From being present instead of racing toward the next thing. Start asking, is this necessary? Does this serve me? Is this meaningful or just noise? Say no more often. Cut out what drains you. Leave room for rest, spontaneity, stillness. Redefine success, not as how much you get done, but as how aligned and peaceful you feel while doing it. Stop glorifying busy. Start choosing intentional. Because a full schedule doesn't equal a full heart. You don't need to do more, you need to live more. 56. Forgetting to smile. You move through your day with a serious face and a tight jaw, focused, stressed, deep in thought. There's no time for smiling, no space for lightness. Everything feels heavy, so your expression matches it, closed, tense, uninviting. But here's what you forget: your face and your feelings are connected. The tension you hold on the outside reinforces the tension you feel inside. Your serious expression tells your brain, things are hard, and your body responds accordingly. You stay stuck in that loop of stress. The good news? It works both ways. When you smile, even if you don't feel like it, you send a different message. You tell your brain, I'm safe. Things are okay. Endorphins and dopamine release. Your mood lifts. You feel just a little lighter. You have more control over that than you think. A smile isn't fake, it's a tool. A way to shift your state, soften your energy, and open yourself up again. And it doesn't just change you. Your expression shapes how others experience you. A tense face pushes people away. A smile draws them in. It says, I'm open, I'm kind, I'm here. That small shift can change conversations, relationships, even opportunities. Think about the people who make you feel at ease. They're not necessarily happier, they just choose to meet life with warmth. Their smile signals safety, and that energy is contagious. So here's your reminder: smile, right now. Even a tiny one. Feel how your body softens. Throughout your day, when you catch your reflection and see that hardened face, let it go. Smile at yourself. Smile at strangers. Smile when things are okay, and especially when they're not. Smiling doesn't mean ignoring your struggles. It means refusing to let them erase every moment of joy. Life is tough enough. Don't let your face make it tougher. Soften it. Let the light in. Remember to smile, it's a small act with a massive ripple. 57. Expecting everyone to agree. You share an opinion and wait for validation. You make a decision and need others to confirm it was right. When someone disagrees, it feels like a threat, like their difference means you're wrong. You crave consensus, alignment, everyone on the same page. But that's not how real life works. People won't always agree with you, and that's okay. Different lives create different viewpoints. Different values shape different priorities. Diversity of thought isn't conflict, it's reality. Your need for agreement is draining you. You either spend your energy convincing others, feel hurt when they don't agree, or silence yourself to avoid tension. You shrink to keep the peace or argue to prove a point. Neither brings peace of mind. Disagreement doesn't mean disrespect. Someone holding a different view doesn't invalidate yours. There's room for multiple truths, multiple right answers, multiple ways to live. The belief that everyone should agree with you isn't confidence, it's control disguised as conviction. It assumes your perspective is the only valid one. But others see the world through different experiences, and that doesn't make either of you wrong, it just makes you human. Secure people can hold their opinions without needing universal approval. They don't collapse under disagreement or attack others for thinking differently. They can say, "I see it differently, and that's okay," and mean it. So practice that. When someone disagrees, get curious instead of defensive. Ask, what led you to that view? Let people be wrong in your eyes without needing to fix them. Trust your own perspective enough to not need constant validation. Your truth isn't the truth, it's a truth. The world is richer when you allow other versions to exist beside yours. Let go of the need for agreement. Expect difference. Welcome it. You'll breathe easier and grow faster when you stop trying to make everyone see what you see, and start learning from what they see instead. 58. Talking down to yourself. Listen to how you speak to yourself. I'm so stupid. I can't do anything right. I'm a failure. You'd never talk this way to someone you love, yet you do it to yourself every day, with harshness, contempt, and cruelty. That inner voice isn't keeping you humble or helping you improve. It's tearing you apart. Every insult becomes a brick in the wall of self-hatred you build inside. Over time, you stop seeing mistakes as moments to learn from, you see them as proof you're not good enough. You think everyone talks to themselves like this, but they don't. And even if they did, that wouldn't make it healthy. This voice makes you scared to try, afraid to fail, unsure of yourself. It convinces you that the awful things you say about yourself are true, until you start living them out. You deserve better from yourself. You deserve the same patience and compassion you'd give a friend. You deserve a voice that helps you grow instead of breaking you down. Here's your practice: catch yourself in those cruel moments. Notice the tone, the words, the story you're telling. Then reframe it, not with fake positivity, but with honesty and kindness. Instead of, "I'm so stupid," try, "I made a mistake, everyone does. I can learn from this." Instead of, "I'm a failure," try, "This didn't work out, but it doesn't define me." Instead of, "I'm not good enough," try, "I'm doing my best, and that's enough." Speak to yourself like someone you love. Because you are. The relationship you have with yourself is the longest one you'll ever have. Make it gentle, patient, and kind. Stop talking down to yourself. You're listening, and it matters. 59. Holding on to control. You want everything to go your way. You plan every detail, anticipate every outcome, and try to manage every variable so nothing surprises you. You believe if you hold on tightly enough, plan harder, worry more, you can keep life under control. But you can't. And it's draining you. You're exhausted from constant vigilance. Anxious because the world won't bend to your will. Frustrated when things don't go as planned. Rigid because flexibility feels unsafe. Distant from others because trusting them feels like giving up control. Here's the truth: most of life is beyond your control. Other people's choices, their feelings, their timing, not yours to manage. Circumstances shift, the future changes, outcomes surprise you. The only things you truly control are your effort, your attitude, and your response. Everything else is an illusion. Your need for control is really fear in disguise, fear of uncertainty, of pain, of things falling apart. You think control keeps you safe, but it traps you instead, in anxiety, tension, and endless overthinking. What if you loosened your grip? Trusted others more? Trusted yourself to handle what comes, instead of trying to prevent every possibility? Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means focusing your energy where it matters, on what you can actually change, and surrendering the rest. It means making plans but holding them lightly. Acting with intention, not fear. Here's your practice: think of one thing you're trying to control that isn't yours to manage, a person, an outcome, the future. Then, consciously release it. Say to yourself, "I cannot control this," and I release my need to try. You'll feel discomfort at first. Then, a quiet relief. The freedom of setting down what was never yours to carry. Control is an illusion. Peace comes when you let go. Life flows better when you stop trying to force it. 60. Mistaking comfort for happiness. You've built a comfortable life. Predictable routines, safe choices, nothing too risky or uncertain. You've avoided discomfort, struggle, and change. You're comfortable and miserable. Because comfort isn't happiness. Comfort is the absence of pain, happiness is the presence of meaning, growth, and connection. And those things often live outside your comfort zone. You're comfortable in the job that drains you. Comfortable in the relationship that no longer inspires you. Comfortable in the routine that keeps you numb. But comfort isn't fulfillment, it's just familiarity dressed as peace. Somewhere along the way, you confused avoiding pain with finding joy. You built a life that's safe but small, stable but dull. And deep inside, there's a quiet voice that's tired of playing it safe. Growth requires discomfort. Learning requires uncertainty. Love and purpose require vulnerability and risk. Everything that makes life rich and meaningful demands that you step beyond what's easy. But after years of choosing comfort, even small challenges now feel unbearable. You've forgotten how to be uncomfortable, how to stretch, how to trust yourself to handle what's hard. Here's the truth, discomfort isn't your enemy, stagnation is. The discomfort of growth builds you. The comfort of stagnation slowly erodes you. You can stay safe, live small, and spend your life avoiding risk. Many do. They stay comfortable until the end, only to realize they never truly lived. Or you can choose differently. Do the thing that scares you a little. Start the project. Have the conversation. Take the leap. Leave what feels safe but wrong. Choose growth over comfort. Choose life over certainty. Because comfort promises peace but delivers numbness. Real happiness isn't soft, it's alive, unpredictable, and deeply human. Stop mistaking comfort for happiness. Step beyond it. That's where life begins. 61. Ignoring nature's calm. You live inside boxes, your home, your car, your office. You move from one indoor space to another, surrounded by screens, artificial light, and recycled air. You can't remember the last time you really stood outside, without rushing, without a purpose, just to notice. When did you last feel grass under your feet? Watch clouds drift by. Listen to birds without headphones. Feel sunlight on your skin without reaching for your phone. Nature offers endless, free medicine, and you keep ignoring it. You carry so much tension, noise, and stress. Yet the simplest cure has always been there: go outside. No subscription. No side effects. Just sky, trees, and breath. Science keeps confirming what humans have always known: nature heals. It lowers stress, calms anxiety, boosts focus and creativity, restores perspective. Just 20 minutes among trees or sunlight can shift your entire state of mind. But you say you're too busy, while spending hours scrolling or worrying indoors. The truth is, you have time. You just haven't made time for what truly helps. When you step outside, everything slows. Your breathing deepens. Your mind softens. Problems shrink beneath the vastness of the sky. You remember that life moves in cycles of growth and rest, and you're part of that rhythm too. Nature asks for nothing. It doesn't care about your productivity or performance. It simply invites you to be present. To notice. To belong. Here's your practice: once a day, go outside without your phone. 10 minutes. No goal, no achievement. Just notice 3 things: what you see, hear, and feel. Touch a tree. Look up. Breathe. On weekends, go somewhere greener: a park, a lake, a trail. Let yourself be small in the presence of something vast. You are not separate from nature, you are nature. Your body remembers, even when your mind forgets. Stop ignoring nature's calm. Go outside. Let it remind you how to be still, alive, and whole again. 62. Losing curiosity. You used to wonder about everything: how things worked, why people acted a certain way, what might happen if you tried something new. You asked questions, explored, and saw the world with wide eyes. Now, you have answers. Opinions. Certainties. You scroll past what challenges your views. You no longer ask why or what if. You've become sure, fixed, and in that certainty, something vital has gone missing. Curiosity is what keeps you alive, not just functioning, but alive. It opens your mind, fuels creativity, builds connection, and drives growth. Without it, you stagnate. You stop learning, stop evolving, stop being surprised by life. Children are naturally curious. They ask endless questions, not to be annoying, but to understand. Then somewhere along the way, we decide we know enough. We stop asking because not knowing feels embarrassing. We'd rather appear certain than learn something new. But curiosity isn't childish, it's life-giving. It's what makes you look at someone you love and still want to discover new things about them. It's what pushes you to taste, explore, read, listen, and imagine. When you lose curiosity, you become an expert in your own small corner of the world, and nothing more. You stop growing because you've stopped wondering. That's not wisdom. That's stagnation. Here's how to rekindle it: start asking real questions again. When someone disagrees with you, ask, what makes you see it that way? When you don't know something, admit it. Say, tell me more. Follow your interests. Wander down new paths. Try things you've never tried. Talk to people unlike you. Approach life as an investigation, not a confirmation. Be willing to be wrong. Be eager to learn. Be open to being surprised. You're never too old, too smart, or too experienced to be curious. The world is endlessly complex, endlessly fascinating. Don't close the door on wonder. Stay curious. That's how you stay alive in all the ways that matter. 63. Forgetting your childhood dreams. Remember when you knew exactly what you wanted to be. An astronaut, an artist, a writer, a musician. Your dreams felt enormous and possible all at once. You believed in yourself without hesitation. Then life happened. Adults told you to be realistic. Bills needed paying. Responsibilities piled up. Slowly, you stopped dreaming the way you used to. You built a stable, sensible life, one that looks right from the outside but feels disconnected from the child you once were. That child who wanted to paint, write, explore, or create is still inside you, quietly waiting. You tell yourself those dreams were childish, unrealistic. But what if they were actually the truest part of you? What if, before the world taught you doubt, you already knew what would make you feel alive? Maybe you can't become exactly who your 10-year-old self imagined, but have you even tried to bring pieces of those dreams into your life now? If you once wanted to be an artist, when's the last time you created something? If you long to travel, when's the last time you went somewhere new? Those dreams weren't random, they were clues to what lights you up. You don't have to abandon responsibility to honor them. You just have to stop ignoring what they represent: creativity, curiosity, adventure, purpose. They didn't disappear with age, they just got buried under layers of should and practical. Here's your invitation: reconnect with that child. Remember what they wanted, what made them excited, what they believed was possible. Feel the ache of forgetting, and then do something, however small, to honor it. You're not too old. It's not too late. Those dreams still matter because they point you back to who you really are. They're not silly, they're sacred. Follow them. See where they lead. That child still remembers you, and is waiting for you to remember them. 64. Skipping gratitude. You focus on what's wrong, what's missing, what failed, what you wish were different. Your mind catalogs complaints while 1,000 things go right unnoticed. You woke up today. You have shelter, clean water, people who care, abilities millions consider luxuries. But you don't see it because you're fixated on the gaps. Skipping gratitude isn't just ungrateful, it's destructive. It trains your brain to scan for problems, making you perpetually dissatisfied, robbing contentment even when life is objectively good. You live in constant lack amid abundance. Here's the truth: there will always be something wrong, something to improve, a gap between where you are and where you want to be. If you only notice gaps, you'll never be happy, not at the promotion, the goal, the dream. Another gap always waits. Gratitude isn't denying problems or pretending perfection. It's balance, training your brain to notice what's working alongside what isn't. Recognizing struggle and blessing coexist, and you choose where to focus. Studies show gratitude rewires your brain. It increases happiness, reduces depression, improves sleep, strengthens relationships, boosts immunity. This is neuroscience. Gratitude changes your brain's default from scarcity to sufficiency. Your practice: every night, write 3 specific things you're grateful for. Not my family, but my daughter's laugh at dinner. Not my health, but my body healing this cut automatically. Make it discipline, especially on hard days. When everything feels wrong, find 3 things right. Train your brain to look. Say thank you, out loud, to people, the universe, yourself. Let gratitude become posture, not just practice. You have more than you realize or acknowledge. Stop skipping gratitude. Start noticing the gifts waiting for you to see them. When you do, your whole life shifts, not because circumstances change, but because you do. 65. Avoiding new friendships. You've got your people, friends from years, maybe decades. You've decided that's enough. Too old, busy, tired, set in your ways for new friends. When connection opportunities arise, you decline, stay in your comfortable circle, and close the door. Here's what you're missing: new friendships bring fresh perspectives, energy, possibilities. They introduce different ways of thinking and living, expanding your world instead of shrinking it to the same conversations with the same people about the same things. Old friends are precious, history and shared experiences create deep bonds. But relationships can stagnate. People outgrow each other. Clinging to old friendships while refusing new ones keeps you stuck in who you were instead of evolving into who you're becoming. New friendships meet you where you are now. They reflect your current self, not who you were 10 years ago. They bring fresh joy, different adventures, unexpected connections, reminding you you're still interesting, capable of connecting, still worth knowing. You avoid them because they're work. Vulnerability. Sharing your story again. Risking rejection, misunderstanding, incompatibility. Familiarity is easier, but easier isn't always better. Life stages shift. People move. Circumstances change. Friendships ebb and flow. If you're not open to new connections, you'll wake up isolated, wondering where everyone went, not realizing you stopped letting anyone in. Making adult friends is awkward, you can't ask like in kindergarten. But it's possible. Show up to the class, group, event, neighbors gathering. Be open, curious, willing to initiate. Your challenge: say yes to one social opportunity this week. The work happy hour, neighborhood thing, hobby meetup. Show up. Talk to someone new. Exchange numbers. Follow up. Do the uncomfortable work. When someone sparks interest, ease, or laughter, don't let it fade. Invite them to coffee. Suggest plans. Be brave enough to pursue the friendship. 66. Not cleaning your space. Your space is a mess. Piles everywhere, dishes in the sink, laundry on chairs, clutter covering surfaces. You walk past it daily, barely noticing. You'll clean it when you have time, motivation. Someday. Here's what you don't realize: your outer environment reflects and reinforces your inner state. Chaotic space creates chaotic mind. The mess drains energy even when you don't consciously notice. Every time you enter your messy space, your nervous system registers unfinished tasks. Your brain keeps a running tally of everything needing doing, and visual chaos constantly screams at you. You think you've tuned it out, you haven't. It's taking an invisible toll. It's not just mental. Environment affects behavior. Messy space encourages messy choices: eating poorly, skipping exercise, wasting time. Harder to focus, relax, feel at peace. You're living in low-grade stress because your space sends stress signals. You avoid cleaning because it feels overwhelming. Don't know where to start. You're tired. But the longer you avoid it, the worse it gets, the more overwhelming it becomes. A cycle keeping you stuck. Here's the truth: you don't need motivation to clean, you need to start. Motivation comes after you begin, not before. You don't need to do it all at once. Just do something. Anything. Start with one small area. Kitchen counter. Nightstand. Desk. 10 minutes. That's it. Clear it completely, put things away, throw things away, wipe it down. Feel the difference one clean space makes. Tomorrow, do another small area. Build momentum. Let one space's clarity inspire clarity in another. The secret: clean space isn't about perfection, it's about peace. Coming home to calm instead of chaos. Creating an environment supporting the life you want instead of reflecting stress you want to escape. Your space matters. It affects mood, productivity, peace of mind. Stop ignoring the mess. Stop waiting for motivation. Start with 10 minutes and one surface. 67. Waiting for luck. You're waiting for something to happen to you. The right opportunity to fall in your lap. The perfect person to find you. Luck to finally swing your way. You believe some people are lucky, you're not one of them. So you wait. And wait. While your life stays exactly the same. Here's the uncomfortable truth: luck isn't magic or random. It's not for a chosen few. Luck is preparation meeting opportunity. What looks like chance is actually showing up, putting yourself out there, being ready when possibility appears. The people you think are lucky, they're creating their own luck. Saying yes. Meeting people. Trying stuff. Putting in work you can't see. Failing repeatedly and trying again. Doing things that increase the probability of something good happening. That's not luck, that's strategy. You're waiting for luck while doing nothing to invite it. Not putting yourself in new situations where you might meet someone. Not applying for opportunities. Not learning valuable skills. Not taking risks. Just sitting there, hoping the universe will deliver what you want without you doing anything. Luck doesn't work that way. Opportunity doesn't knock on doors of people hiding inside hoping to be found. It finds people who are out there, visible, active, trying things, making moves. Want a better job? Apply, network, build skills. Want a relationship? Put yourself where you might meet someone and be brave enough to show interest. Want your life to change? Change something about how you're living it. Waiting for luck is just avoiding responsibility. It lets you blame circumstances instead of acknowledging your agency. Playing victim instead of player. Your wake-up call: stop waiting. Start creating. Create opportunities by showing up. Create connections by reaching out. Create possibilities by trying new things. Create luck by being ready and willing when opportunity appears. Take action. Any action. Apply for something. Message someone. Sign up. Learn something new. 68. Avoiding risks completely. You play it safe. Always. The sure thing over possibility. Known over unknown. Comfortable over exciting. You avoid anything uncertain, anything without guaranteed outcomes. You think you're being smart, responsible, protecting yourself from disappointment, failure, loss. But you're actually protecting yourself from life. From growth. From something amazing. From becoming who you could be. Every meaningful thing involves risk. Love, they might hurt you. Starting a business, it might fail. Moving, you might hate it. Creating, people might not like it. Trying something new, you might not be good at it. Yes, those risks might result in feared outcomes. But they might also result in something wonderful. Life-changing. Something you'd never experience staying safe. Avoiding all risk isn't avoiding pain, it's avoiding growth. Not protecting yourself, imprisoning yourself. Not being smart, being scared. The biggest risk is taking no risks. A life in the safe zone is a half-life. Existence without aliveness. Security without joy. Survival without thriving. At the end, you won't regret risks that didn't work out. You'll regret the ones you never took. Calculated risk isn't recklessness, it's courage. Weighing downside against upside and deciding possibility is worth uncertainty. Trying anyway, even without certainty. You can handle more than you think. If risk doesn't work out, you'll survive. Learn. Adapt. Try something else. The worst-case scenario? Probably not as catastrophic as you think. You're more resilient than you give yourself credit for. Start small. Take one small risk this week. Apply for something you're unsure you're qualified for. Have a nervous conversation. Try something you might not be good at. Say yes to an opportunity that excites and scares you. Feel the fear. Take the risk anyway. Notice you survive. Build the muscle. Stop avoiding risk completely. Start calculating which risks are worth taking. 69. Taking things too personally. Someone doesn't respond to your message, and you spiral. A coworker seems short, and you assume you did something wrong. A friend cancels plans, and you're convinced they don't like you. Someone criticizes your work, and you take it as an indictment of your worth. Everything feels like a referendum on you. But here's what you're missing: most things aren't about you at all. That person who didn't respond. Overwhelmed with their own life. That coworker who seemed short. Dealing with something you know nothing about. That friend who canceled. Exhausted, sick, or handling a crisis. That criticism. Feedback on your work, not your value as a human. You're making yourself the center of everyone else's universe when the truth is, everyone is the center of their own. People are thinking about their own problems, stress, lives. You're barely a blip on their radar most of the time. That's not insulting, that's liberating. Taking things personally is exhausting. You're constantly analyzing interactions, looking for hidden meanings, assuming the worst. Turning neutral events into personal attacks. Creating suffering that doesn't need to exist. Not everything is a message about your worth or reflection of how people feel about you. Sometimes people are just tired, distracted, having a bad day that has nothing to do with you. Sometimes feedback is just information, not judgment. When you take everything personally, you're actually making everything about you. That's not humility, it's self-absorption. Assuming you're so important that everyone's mood, every word, every action is calculated in relation to you. But you're not that central to everyone else's experience. Realizing that is freedom. Your new filter: when something bothers you, ask, is this actually about me, or am I making it about me? Is there another explanation that has nothing to do with my worth or likability? What evidence do I have that this is personal versus my assumption? 70. Not trusting enough. You've been hurt before, so you stop trusting. You keep everyone at arm's length, assuming they have hidden motives. You think you're protecting yourself, but really, you're keeping connection out. You're punishing new people for what someone old did, letting past pain control your present. Yes, trust can be risky. People may disappoint or hurt you again. But shutting everyone out means you'll never experience closeness, love, or belonging. Guarding your heart too tightly might keep you safe, but it also keeps you lonely. Trust isn't blind faith, it's a choice to give people a chance. To believe in their potential until they show otherwise. To enter relationships with openness instead of suspicion. When you refuse to trust, you keep relationships shallow. You test people, waiting for them to fail, and they eventually do, not because they betrayed you, but because being doubted constantly drives them away. Your lack of trust doesn't protect you, it isolates you. It turns friends into suspects and partners into threats. It hardens your heart against the vulnerability that real connection requires. Start small. Pick one person who's shown up consistently. Trust them with something little. Let evidence build instead of assuming the worst. When mistakes happen, remember people are human, not malicious. Give the benefit of the doubt. Trust is always a risk, but so is love, friendship, and belonging. You can stay safe and alone, or risk being hurt and find something real. Not everyone will hurt you. Some people are safe. Let yourself find them. The right people are worth the risk. 71. Every conversation feels like a debate you must win. Every disagreement is a challenge to prove you're right. You interrupt, fact-check, and argue long after others move on. You crave validation more than connection. You'd rather be right than be in relationship. But all that winning is costing you, your peace, your relationships, and your ability to grow. When you're always preparing a rebuttal, you're not listening. You're performing. And even when you win, you lose. You might silence someone, but they walk away feeling unseen and disconnected. The victory is hollow. Not every conversation needs a winner. Some are just exchanges of perspective. Some differences can simply exist. You don't need the last word or to correct everyone. The smartest person in the room isn't the one who wins every argument, it's the one confident enough to let something go. Try curiosity instead of competition. Ask why someone sees it differently. Consider they might know something you don't. Be open to being wrong or to both being right in different ways. Strength isn't in dominating, it's in understanding. In your next disagreement, listen to understand, not to respond. Resist the urge to refute every point. Look for any truth in what they say. And sometimes, just let it go. Let them have the last word. Notice how peace feels better than victory. Stop trying to win every exchange. Start valuing connection over correction. Because being right all the time is lonely, and the best conversations happen when you stop competing and start connecting. 72. Avoiding silence. The TV's always on. Music plays constantly. Podcasts fill every gap. You avoid quiet at all costs, surrounding yourself with sound and distraction. Silence makes you uneasy because that's when thoughts surface, feelings rise, and questions appear, ones you'd rather not face. So you stay busy, running from yourself. But silence isn't the enemy. It's the space where clarity lives, where creativity awakens, where your intuition finally gets a voice. Without it, you stay overstimulated and undernourished, reacting instead of reflecting, scrolling instead of feeling. Your nervous system needs silence to rest and reset. Constant noise keeps you tense, never fully at ease. Even your relationships suffer. When you can't sit in quiet with someone, you fill the space with meaningless chatter, missing the comfort and connection that stillness can bring. Silence isn't empty, it's full. Full of insight, peace, and truth. But you'll never experience that if you keep drowning it out. Start small. 5 minutes with no phone, no TV, no music. Just you and quiet. Notice the discomfort, and stay with it. Then stretch it to 10, 15. Have your coffee without the news. Take a walk without headphones. Drive without the radio. Listen to what emerges, your thoughts, your feelings, your own voice. That's where understanding lives. Silence isn't something to fear, it's something to honor. Give yourself the gift of quiet. Sit in it. Let it speak. That's where you find yourself again. 73. Overthinking everything. You replay conversations, analyze every decision, and spiral through endless what-ifs. You convince yourself that thinking more will help you gain control, but instead, you just exhaust yourself. Overthinking isn't problem-solving, it's self-torture dressed up as caution. You're trying to predict every outcome, avoid every mistake, and protect yourself from regret. But life doesn't work that way. The more you think, the less you do. The more you analyze, the less peace you have. You get stuck in mental quicksand, sinking deeper into doubt the harder you struggle to find certainty. Here's the truth, you'll never think your way into complete safety or certainty. Sometimes clarity only comes through action. Sometimes you have to decide, move forward, and let experience teach you what overthinking never will. When you catch yourself spiraling, pause. Breathe. Ask, is this thought helping me or hurting me? If it's not leading to action or insight, let it go. Replace endless analysis with small movement. Choose doing over dwelling. Not every thought deserves your attention. Not every scenario needs to be solved. Trust yourself enough to act without knowing every answer. You've survived every uncertainty before, you'll survive this one too. Your mind's job isn't to keep you trapped in loops, it's to guide you forward. Think less. Live more. Peace doesn't come from having all the answers, it comes from finally deciding to move anyway. 74. Neglecting self-reflection. You move from one day to the next without pausing to ask why you're doing what you're doing. You react, you perform, you achieve, but you rarely stop to think. You're living on autopilot, mistaking motion for meaning. When you never reflect, you repeat the same mistakes, chase goals that don't fulfill you, and stay stuck in patterns that quietly drain your joy. Self-reflection isn't self-indulgence, it's self-awareness. It's how you course-correct before life forces you to. Think of reflection as your internal compass. Without checking it, you wander aimlessly, even while feeling busy and productive. With it, you realign with your values, remember your priorities, and see what actually matters. You don't need hours of journaling or a spiritual retreat. Just a few minutes a day to ask, how am I really doing? What worked today? What didn't? What do I want to do differently tomorrow? The answers are often simple, but they hold the key to real growth. When you reflect, you start to see patterns, why you react a certain way, why you keep ending up in the same situations, what truly lights you up. And once you see clearly, you can choose differently. Stop rushing past your own life. Slow down long enough to understand it. Self-reflection isn't about judgment, it's about awareness. And awareness is the first step to change. 75. Seeking constant validation. You post, share, and perform hoping for likes, praise, or approval. You measure your worth by reactions, how many people noticed, responded, or complimented you. The silence feels like rejection, so you chase more attention, mistaking visibility for value. You've built your confidence on shaky ground, other people's opinions. When they approve, you rise. When they don't, you crumble. You've forgotten how to feel good about yourself without an audience applauding. Here's the truth, external validation feels good, but it's never enough. It fades fast, leaving you hungry for another hit. Real confidence comes from internal validation, knowing who you are and liking yourself regardless of how others respond. When you stop chasing approval, you start living authentically. You speak your truth without fear of judgment. You make choices that feel right, not just look right. You stop performing and start existing freely. Start small. Before you post, ask, would I still do this if no one saw it? Before you seek advice, ask, what do I think? Before you fish for reassurance, tell yourself, I'm proud of this. The validation you crave from others is a reflection of what you're withholding from yourself. Give it inward first: self-respect, self-recognition, self-approval. The world's applause will never fill the silence that comes from not valuing your own voice. You don't need to be seen to be worthy. You already are. 76. Expecting others to read your mind. You get upset when people don't notice what you need, don't say the right thing, or don't understand how you feel. You assume they should just know. You drop hints, go quiet, or withdraw, hoping they'll figure it out. When they don't, you take it as proof they don't care. But people can't meet needs you never express. They're not mind readers, they're human. Expecting them to guess your feelings sets them up to fail and sets you up for disappointment. It's not their lack of love, it's your lack of communication. You think staying silent protects you from rejection or conflict, but all it really does is build resentment. You end up hurt and unheard, not because people don't want to understand you, but because you never gave them the chance. Here's the truth: expressing your needs isn't demanding, it's honest. Saying, I need help, I'm upset, or, I'd love for you to do this differently, gives others the information they need to love you well. Clear communication builds closeness, guessing games destroy it. Start practicing directness. Use words instead of sighs, clarity instead of hints. You deserve to be understood, but that starts with being understood by your own voice. Say what you mean. Ask for what you need. Give people the chance to show up for you. You'll be amazed how many actually will once you stop expecting them to read your mind. 77. Needing control over everything. You micromanage every detail, plan every scenario, and tense up whenever things don't go exactly your way. You think if you control everything, nothing can go wrong. But all that control is just fear in disguise, fear of chaos, disappointment, and uncertainty. The more you try to control life, the more anxious you become. Because life refuses to be managed. People surprise you. Plans shift. Circumstances change. And no amount of overpreparing can prevent the unpredictable. Control feels safe, but it's exhausting. It keeps you in constant vigilance, tightening your grip until your world gets smaller and smaller. You can't fully enjoy anything because you're too busy trying to manage everything. Here's the truth: peace doesn't come from control, it comes from trust. Trust that you can handle whatever happens. Trust that not every outcome needs your supervision. Trust that letting go doesn't mean giving up, it means allowing life to flow as it will. Try this: loosen your grip in one small area today. Let someone else decide dinner. Don't double-check that email. Sit in uncertainty without trying to fix it. Notice how freeing it feels to not be in charge of everything. You can't control life into perfection, but you can choose calm over chaos. Trade control for confidence. Let life unfold, you're strong enough to handle it when it does. 78. Waiting for motivation. You keep waiting to feel ready, to start the project, hit the gym, clean the space, fix the habit. You tell yourself you'll do it when you're in the mood, when inspiration strikes, when conditions are right. But that day rarely comes. Motivation doesn't start action, action creates motivation. You've mistaken energy for inspiration. You think successful people wake up excited every day, but they don't. They act first. They start before they feel like it, and momentum builds from there. Waiting for motivation is just procrastination wearing good intentions. The truth is, discipline matters more than desire. Motivation fades, but habits carry you through the dips. The hardest part is the beginning, the first minute, the first rep, the first line. Once you start, resistance loses its power. Try this: stop asking, "Do I feel like it?" and start saying, "I'll do it for 5 minutes." Just 5. Often, those 5 minutes turn into 20, then an hour. Because action generates the very motivation you thought you needed first. Stop waiting to be inspired. Start moving. Show up before you feel ready. Progress doesn't come from waiting for the perfect moment, it comes from deciding this moment is enough. You don't need to feel motivated to begin. You just need to begin. The spark comes after. 79. Comparing yourself to everyone. You scroll through other people's lives and wonder why yours doesn't look like theirs. You see their highlights and measure them against your behind the scenes. You shrink your own progress because someone else seems ahead. Comparison steals your joy and replaces it with quiet self-doubt. You forget that everyone's timeline is different. What looks like overnight success is often years of unseen effort. What looks perfect from a distance might be messy up close. When you compare, you stop appreciating your own growth, you see lack instead of progress. Here's the truth: comparison doesn't motivate, it paralyzes. It makes you chase someone else's version of success and lose sight of your own. You start living to keep up instead of living in alignment with what truly matters to you. Try this: when jealousy hits, turn it into curiosity. Instead of "why them," ask, "what about their path inspires me?" Then use that insight to fuel your own journey, not diminish it. Their success doesn't take from yours, it proves what's possible. Focus on your lane. Celebrate small wins. Measure yourself against who you were yesterday, not who someone else is today. You're not behind, you're becoming. The only person worth competing with is the person you used to be. Stop comparing and start living. Your story is unfolding exactly as it should. 80. Avoiding difficult conversations. You stay silent to keep the peace, swallow your feelings to avoid conflict, and convince yourself it's not worth bringing up. But that peace you're protecting is fake, it's just tension postponed. Every avoided conversation becomes stored resentment, waiting to surface later as anger or distance. You think silence keeps relationships safe, but it actually weakens them. Unspoken truths create invisible walls. The longer you wait to speak, the harder it becomes, and the further apart you drift from the person you're avoiding. Here's the truth: honesty might feel uncomfortable, but avoidance is what truly hurts. Difficult conversations aren't signs of broken relationships, they're how strong ones are built. Respectful conflict can bring clarity, healing, and closeness if you let it. Start small. Speak calmly, not defensively. Use "I feel" instead of "you always." Focus on understanding, not winning. Remember, discomfort doesn't mean danger, it means growth. Avoidance feels safe in the moment, but it costs you connection. Speak the truth kindly. Say what needs to be said. The short-term discomfort of honesty is far easier to bear than the long-term pain of silence. Have the hard talk. Your relationships, and your peace, depend on it. 81. Living for the future. You're always chasing the next milestone, the promotion, the house, the relationship, the moment when things will finally feel right. You tell yourself happiness is coming, that peace lives somewhere ahead. But when you get there, you're already planning the next thing. You're living in a constant almost. The future focus feels productive, but it robs you of the only thing that's real, the present. You rush through moments meant to be savored. You forget that the life you're waiting for is already happening, right now, in small, quiet ways. Here's the truth: goals give direction, but presence gives meaning. You can plan ahead without abandoning now. You can work for better days while still enjoying today. Try this: pause before moving to the next task. Notice where you are. Breathe. Look around. Ask, what's good right now? The more you practice presence, the less life slips by unnoticed. The future will come whether you chase it or not. But you'll never get this moment again. Stop living for someday. Start living for today. That's where life actually is. 82. Avoiding responsibility. You blame circumstances, other people, or bad luck when things don't go your way. You tell yourself it's not your fault, that life just happens to you. But every time you dodge responsibility, you also give away your power to change anything. Avoiding responsibility feels easier, it protects your ego from discomfort. But it also traps you in the same cycles. As long as it's always someone else's fault, your life stays exactly as it is. Here's the truth, ownership isn't about guilt, it's about growth. Taking responsibility doesn't mean blaming yourself, it means claiming your ability to respond differently. It's how you move from being a victim of life to being the author of it. Start small. When something goes wrong, ask, what part of this is mine to own? What can I learn? What can I do differently next time? That shift turns setbacks into lessons and problems into progress. Responsibility isn't a burden, it's freedom. It's the moment you stop waiting for life to change and realize you can change it yourself. Own your choices, own your impact, own your direction. That's where real control begins. 83. Ignoring your body. You push through exhaustion, skip meals, and tell yourself you'll rest later. You treat your body like an inconvenience instead of the vessel that carries you through life. You listen to your mind's demands but silence your body's pleas. You forget that your body keeps the score. Every ignored signal, fatigue, tension, pain, is its way of asking for care. When you override it long enough, it stops whispering and starts screaming through burnout, illness, or breakdown. Here's the truth, your body isn't the enemy, it's your oldest ally. It doesn't need perfection, it needs attention. It tells you what it needs if you slow down enough to listen. Rest when you're tired. Eat when you're hungry. Move in ways that feel good, not punishing. You can't think your way to wellness. You have to feel your way there. The body you neglect today is the one you'll depend on tomorrow. Start treating it like a partner, not a problem. The more you listen, the more it supports you. Respect your limits. Nurture your energy. Care for the vessel that carries your dreams. Your body has been fighting for you, start fighting for it, too. 84. Neglecting time alone. You're always surrounded by people, noise, and motion. The idea of being alone unsettles you, so you fill every moment with company. You plan every evening, panic when plans fall through, and avoid the quiet. But what you're really avoiding is yourself. Solitude forces you to face your thoughts and emotions, the ones you bury under constant interaction. Yet being alone isn't loneliness, it's clarity. It's where you process, reflect, and rediscover who you are apart from others. Without it, your sense of self blurs, and your relationships suffer. You rely on others for emotional balance, lose yourself trying to stay connected, and settle for company just to escape silence. Time alone restores you. It recharges your energy, sparks creativity, and strengthens your inner stability. Start small, take an hour to walk, journal, or sit quietly without your phone. Notice the discomfort, the urge to distract. Stay with it. In that stillness, you'll uncover insight, emotion, and peace. 85. Forgetting patience. You want it now, results, change, success. You plant seeds and get frustrated when nothing grows overnight. You start strong, then quit when progress isn't instant. You've lost patience, with yourself, with others, with the natural rhythm of growth. But impatience costs you everything good. All meaningful things take time, relationships, mastery, healing, transformation. Growth happens quietly, gradually. When you chase speed, you miss the beauty of becoming. You're measuring in leaps while progress unfolds in tiny steps. You're being unfair, to yourself, expecting instant transformation for hard work, to others, demanding they change on your schedule, to life, tugging at roots before they're ready to bloom. Patience isn't passive. It's trust in the unseen process. It's continuing to show up even when results aren't visible yet. It's knowing that forcing outcomes only ruins what could have naturally unfolded. You can't make a flower bloom faster by pulling it open. When impatience rises, pause. Ask, what's realistic here? Am I expecting speed where steadiness is required? Adjust your expectations to time's reality. Celebrate small wins, the quiet proof that things are unfolding. Be gentle with your pace. You're still learning, healing, becoming. Remember, slow progress is still progress. Patience isn't waiting, it's trusting. Trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust that you're growing, even when it feels too slow. 86. Thinking mistakes define you. You made a mistake, maybe a big one. And now you've decided that's who you are. You're wearing it like an identity, convinced this failure defines your worth. But you are not your mistakes. You are not your worst moment. You're a growing human being who sometimes gets it wrong. That's not weakness, that's life. Mistakes are events, not identities. They're things you did, not who you are. Yet when you let them define you, you trap yourself in a story that ends too soon. If you believe your errors are your truth, you give up the chance to grow beyond them. Every person you admire has failed deeply. What separates them isn't perfection, it's how they responded. They learned, made amends, adjusted, and kept moving. They let mistakes shape them, not cage them. Your mistakes prove courage. You tried. You risked. You showed up. Yes, you stumbled, but not trying at all would have been the real failure. What matters most is what you do next. Growth begins the moment you choose to respond differently. When shame whispers that your mistake defines you, pause. Say, I made a mistake. That doesn't make me a mistake. I'm learning and growing. Find the lesson. Apologize if needed. Make it right if you can, then release it. You are evolving, not broken. Stop identifying with what went wrong and start identifying with how you rise from it. You're not your mistakes. You're the person becoming wiser because of them. 87. Waiting for others' approval. You hesitate until someone says it's okay. You hold back your dreams, waiting for validation, for consensus, for a green light that never comes. In that waiting, life stays paused. But unanimous approval doesn't exist. People will always have opinions, filtered through their fears, values, and expectations. You could spend your life chasing their reassurance and never feel secure, because external validation constantly moves the goalposts. What you're really seeking is permission, to be yourself, to want what you want, to choose what's true for you. But you already have that permission. It's yours to give. Others' approval often reflects the life they'd feel comfortable living, not the one you're meant to choose. Their well-meaning advice isn't your truth. When you base decisions on others' comfort, you quietly shrink your life to fit someone else's idea of safe. Freedom begins when you stop asking for approval and start acting from conviction. Inform, don't seek permission. Notice who supports your direction, and keep going either way. You know what you want. You know what feels right. Trust your voice more than others' opinions. Not everyone will approve, and that's fine. You can care for people and still disappoint them. You can love them and still choose yourself. The life meant for you won't get unanimous applause. It only needs your approval, and the understanding of those brave enough to live authentically too. Stop waiting for others' permission. Approve of yourself. Take the step. Live your life. The right people will stay alongside you. The rest were never meant to lead your way. 88. Avoiding gratitude practice. You know gratitude is helpful, but you skip the practice. You say you're grateful in theory, but never name specifics or feel it deeply. As a result, you feel dissatisfied and focus more on what's missing than what's present. Gratitude isn't pretending life is perfect, it's learning to notice what's good alongside what isn't. Your brain is built to spot problems, so you naturally scan for lack. Without intentional practice, you miss the abundance you already have. Research is clear, gratitude improves mood, sleep, resilience, immunity, and relationships. These are real, brain-level changes. It feels awkward at first because it's not natural, you have to build the habit, not just wait for it to happen. Sometimes, gratitude is uncomfortable. It exposes how much you have and how little you let yourself enjoy it. But that's the work, bridging the gap between real abundance and perceived scarcity. Here's your practice. Every night, jot down 3 specific things you're grateful for. Small details, real moments, not vague ideas. Even on rough days, find 3. Consistency matters, especially when it's hardest. Let gratitude shift your attention. You have more than you think, but you won't feel it until you start looking for it. Start today and watch your perspective change. 89. Ignoring what makes you happy. You move through your days on autopilot: work, chores, screens, responsibilities. You do what's required, not what lights you up. Somewhere along the way, you decided happiness was optional, something you'd earn later. But it's not a luxury, it's a necessity. When you neglect joy, life becomes a checklist. You hit goals but feel empty because there's no energy left to enjoy them. Happiness isn't an accessory to a good life, it's the foundation of it. Without joy, even success loses meaning. Ask yourself, what actually makes you happy? Maybe you've forgotten. Think back to moments when you felt alive and fulfilled. What were you doing? Who were you with? The answer is personal: creation, nature, connection, movement, learning, solitude. Your happiness doesn't have to look like anyone else's. Doing what brings you joy isn't selfish, it sustains you. It restores your energy, creativity, and presence. You can't give your best to others if you're constantly drained. Here's your practice: make a list of things that genuinely make you happy. Be specific. Then schedule one today, just like an important meeting. Protect that time. Repeat it consistently. Stop treating happiness as optional. Start weaving it into your life on purpose. Because your life isn't waiting, it's happening now. And it deserves joy in it. 90. Making life too serious. Everything feels heavy. Every task, every problem, every thought is serious. You've forgotten how to be light, how to laugh at yourself, how to find humor in the absurdity of life. That weight you carry, it's not strength, it's strain. Too much seriousness drains you. It squeezes out joy, spontaneity, play. It makes you brittle and tired, turning life into duty instead of experience. Yes, some things are serious, but not everything is. Many moments are meant to be lived lightly. Laughter is medicine. It lowers stress hormones, raises endorphins, strengthens your immune system, and even protects your heart. Humor strengthens resilience, boosts creativity, and helps you see problems with perspective. It's not denial, it's how your mind breathes. When you treat everything with gravity, you lose proportion. That argument. It won't matter in a month. That mistake. Not fatal. That opinion you're clinging to. Maybe it's not worth the tension. Seriousness makes you miss the joy that's still here, the silly moment, the shared smile, the comic timing of existence itself. Lightness reminds you that life isn't meant to be endured, it's meant to be lived. Here's your practice: find one thing to laugh about today. Something truly funny or absurd. Let yourself laugh fully. Then do something playful, for no reason but joy: dance badly, joke, be ridiculous. It's not foolish, it's freeing. Stop making life so serious. There's already enough that's hard. Add space for laughter, for levity, for light. It's not just about feeling good, it's about staying alive inside your life. 91. Forgetting to breathe deeply. You're breathing, but barely. Shallow, quick, chest-level breaths keep you alive but not calm. Over time, they trap your body in a low-grade state of stress, constantly signaling danger even when life is fine. Shallow breathing reduces oxygen flow, tightens muscles, clouds thinking, and even weakens immunity. It locks your nervous system into fight or flight mode, fueling anxiety and fatigue. Deep breathing, by contrast, activates the parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest state, lowering heart rate and blood pressure while restoring equilibrium. You carry more tension than you realize, in your shoulders, your chest, your jaw. Much of it could ease if you simply breathed fully. Think of how you breathe when anxious, tight and rapid. When calm, slow and expansive. The beauty is that breath works both ways. You can use slow, deep breathing to create calm, not just reflect it. Here's your practice: several times a day, pause and take 5 mindful breaths. Inhale through your nose for 4 counts, filling your belly first, then your chest. Hold for 4. Exhale through your mouth for 6, emptying completely. Feel your body settle, your mind ease, your shoulders drop. Your breath is a built-in regulator, always available, completely free. Stop treating it as background noise. Breathe deeply, not just to survive, but to feel alive. 92. Thinking money equals peace. You believe there's a number, that if you earn or save enough, you'll finally relax. That financial abundance will erase anxiety and bring lasting peace. But it doesn't. Even those who hit that magic number rarely feel done. The goalpost keeps moving. Research shows money and happiness are linked, but only up to a point. Higher income can ease stress and improve well-being by covering needs and offering security. Beyond moderate stability, however, more money adds little peace. Wealthy people often adapt quickly to comfort, and anxiety simply shifts to bigger financial concerns. Money provides freedom, not fulfillment. It solves logistical problems, not emotional ones. True peace isn't a number, it's a relationship with life's uncertainty. People with little can feel grounded, people with plenty can feel perpetually uneasy. The difference lies in trust that you'll cope, that you'll find a way, that safety comes from within. Your pursuit of money as peace may actually fuel anxiety. You trade today's contentment for a future that never feels secure enough to enjoy. Pause the chase. Define what enough means, what amount truly covers needs, comforts, and a small cushion. Work toward that while practicing gratitude and calm now. Peace builds from acceptance, not accumulation. It grows from presence, generosity, and connection. Money creates choices, but peace comes from how you live, not what you have. Stop chasing money as the cure for unease. Build both wealth and peace as separate goals, one external, one internal. That's real security, having stability outside, and serenity inside. 93. Not respecting differences. You get frustrated when people don't think, act, or value things the way you do. You see difference as something to fix instead of something to understand. But trying to make everyone see the world like you limits connection, growth, and peace. People aren't wrong, they're different. They've lived different lives, faced different challenges, developed different priorities. What feels obvious or easy to you might be foreign to them. Your way isn't the way, it's one of many. Seeing others as failed versions of you cuts off empathy and diversity, both of which enrich life. Psychologically, intolerance of differences often stems from discomfort with uncertainty, the human tendency to react negatively when things feel unpredictable or unfamiliar. The less flexibility you have with these differences, the more stress, frustration, and conflict you create, for yourself and for others. Respecting differences isn't about agreement. It's about curiosity. It's the choice to ask, what leads you to see it that way, instead of demanding, why can't you see it my way? When you get curious instead of critical, you expand your perspective, and often, your compassion. Notice your they should thoughts. Each one is a sign you're imposing your map on someone else's territory. Pause. Breathe. Let them be who they are. Difference builds creativity, resilience, and understanding. It's not a flaw in humanity, it's the design. The world doesn't need more of you. It needs you learning from those unlike you. Stop resisting differences. Start respecting them. That's how relationships deepen, minds open, and peace begins. 94. Avoiding goodbyes. You hate endings. So you avoid them. You fade out of relationships, skip farewells at work, move on quietly, pretending goodbyes don't matter. But they do. Avoiding them doesn't prevent pain, it just replaces it with unfinished business. Psychologists note that avoiding goodbyes often stems from fear of loss and discomfort with vulnerability. The brain registers parting as a kind of threat, activating stress regions like the amygdala that process emotional pain and attachment. Yet when you avoid endings, you deny your mind the closure it needs to adapt and heal. Goodbyes are emotional punctuation marks. They help the psyche integrate change, affirm connection, and move forward. Skipping them leaves an open loop, relationships that linger unresolved, jobs or places that haunt quietly in memory. Studies show that people who avoid farewells often experience prolonged sadness, guilt, or difficulty letting go. Saying goodbye is courageous. It means acknowledging that something mattered enough to miss. It's not weakness, it's respect. It gives both sides a chance to express gratitude, grief, or peace. You can't stop endings, but you can choose to close them with care instead of absence. Here's your practice: when something ends, mark it. Say what you need to say: thank you, I'll miss you, this mattered. Let emotion move through you instead of bottling it up. For past unspoken goodbyes, you can still reach out, write a message, or journal the words you never said. Goodbyes hurt, but they heal too. Avoiding them may feel easier in the moment, but true peace comes from closure, not escape. Say the words. Feel the ache. Then let go. That's how endings become beginnings. 95. Expecting success overnight. You want fast results: the body in 30 days, the business in 6 months, the transformation now. You see others' success and assume it was instant, effortless, destined. But overnight success is a myth. What looks sudden is usually years of unseen work, persistence, and failure. The truth is, success unfolds slowly. Studies and experts consistently show that what's labeled overnight success is just the moment the world finally notices long-prepared work. Behind every breakout story are countless silent hours of effort, the rejected drafts, failed launches, late nights, and lessons learned in obscurity. Our brains crave instant gratification. Psychologists call it the goal gradient effect. The closer we think we are to a goal, the more motivated we feel, but when progress is slow, motivation crashes. This is why so many quit early. But quitting means stopping just before the compound growth begins. Real success is built in the dark, through dull repetition and consistent showing up when there's no visible return. The bamboo forest metaphor captures this: roots grow underground for years before sudden visible rise. Success works the same way: long invisible work, followed by overnight recognition. Here's your shift. Stop judging progress by how fast results appear. Focus on how often you show up. Success isn't speed, it's stamina. Commit for a year, not a week. Celebrate effort as success. Each day you stay consistent, you grow roots that no one can see yet, but one day they'll support everything. Overnight success is a fairy tale. Long-term success is reality. Play the long game. Trust slow progress. Because the time will pass either way, make it build something that lasts. 96. Forgetting self-care. You take care of everyone else but neglect yourself. You tell yourself you'll rest later, that your needs can wait. But later never comes, and you end up exhausted, irritable, and running on fumes. Neglecting self-care isn't harmless, it has real consequences. Studies show that lack of self-care leads to anxiety, burnout, irritability, low energy, poor concentration, and strained relationships. Chronic stress from constant overextension weakens immunity, disrupts sleep, and heightens risk for depression and physical illness. Over time, you stop recognizing yourself, not because you're weak, but because you've been emptying the tank without refueling. We confuse self-care with indulgence, but it's maintenance, basic upkeep of your body and mind. Just as you wouldn't drive a car without oil, you can't sustain your life without replenishment. Self-care isn't selfish, it's what makes care for others possible. True self-care is simple and steady: sleep, movement, nourishing food, quiet time, boundaries, genuine connection, rest. It's also emotional: therapy, honest reflection, saying no, allowing joy. It's not about doing everything perfectly, it's about doing something consistently. When you skip self-care, you don't just harm yourself, you diminish your capacity to be present, kind, and effective. You can't pour from an empty cup. Here's your practice: choose 3 self-care acts, 1 physical, 1 emotional, 1 mental, and commit to them daily. Then, when guilt arises for taking time, remember that rest fuels resilience. That caring for yourself isn't indulgence, it's responsibility. Stop waiting for permission to rest. Prioritize yourself because your well-being matters too. You're not selfish for having needs, you're human for honoring them. 97. Staying in the past. You keep replaying old conversations, reliving regrets, revisiting memories until the past feels more alive than the present. But the truth is, those moments are gone. The more you dwell there, the more life you miss now. Research shows that excessive focus on the past, known as rumination, is linked to depression, anxiety, and reduced life satisfaction. When your mind loops through past mistakes or wounds, your brain reactivates the same stress pathways as if they're happening again. You're not remembering, you're reliving. Over time, this habit erodes resilience and keeps you emotionally stuck. The past is meant to teach, not trap. Reflecting helps you learn, ruminating keeps you wounded. When you pick at old pain, it can't heal. When you idolize old happiness, nothing in the present can compare. Either way, you become half present, alive, but not here. Let the past refine you, not define you. Extract the lesson, keep the wisdom, and leave the rest. Each time you catch yourself drifting backward, pause and ground into now. Notice your surroundings, what you can see, hear, touch, smell, taste. This moment is where your life actually is. If unresolved emotions keep pulling you back, face them intentionally. Journal. Grieve. Seek therapy. Make amends where possible. Closure isn't forgetting, it's freeing. The person you were then isn't who you are now. The past no longer needs your attention. The present does. Stop living in reruns. Come back to the scene unfolding now, it's the only one still being written. 98. Focusing only on problems. You see what's wrong everywhere you look. You analyze, critique, fix, but rarely appreciate. You call it being practical, but it's really training your brain to live in threat mode. Constant problem finding might feel productive, but it quietly drains your joy. Our brains are wired this way. Evolution favored vigilance, spotting danger kept our ancestors alive. This negativity bias makes you notice flaws more easily than positives. But in modern life, that bias backfires. It keeps your amygdala, the brain's fear center, on alert, releasing cortisol and feeding chronic stress. Instead of clarity, you end up anxious, frustrated, and exhausted. Research shows that worry and overfocusing on problems can actually impair problem solving by increasing cognitive load and reducing emotional balance. In contrast, balanced or solution-focused thinking improves motivation, perspective, and well-being. The shift isn't from realism to denial, it's from hyperanalysis to balance. When you focus only on flaws, nothing feels good enough. Relationships strain because people feel judged. Success feels hollow because you overlook what's right. Your attention becomes a lens, and when it always scans for problems, that's all reality seems to hold. Here's the reframe: keep solving problems, but notice progress too. Name what's working. Appreciate what's steady. Let gratitude coexist with improvement. For every issue you point out, name something that went well. End each day by listing 3 things that worked, not perfectly, but well enough. Balanced minds build better lives. See both the cracks and the light. That's not naivety, that's perspective. And perspective is what turns effort into peace. 99. Ignoring small efforts. You only celebrate the big moments, the dramatic breakthroughs, the visible results. The everyday effort. You dismiss it as too small to matter. But small efforts are what actually build the big ones. They're the foundation, the repetition that transforms intention into achievement. Neuroscience shows that celebrating small wins activates the brain's reward system, releasing dopamine, the chemical that fuels motivation and focus. This process creates a feedback loop that keeps you moving, even when the goal feels far away. When you ignore small progress, you rob yourself of that internal reinforcement, and burnout follows. The progress principle from Harvard research found that tracking and celebrating small advances has a stronger impact on motivation than major milestones. It maintains momentum, builds confidence, and turns discipline into identity. Small efforts compound like interest, invisible day to day, undeniable over time. Every meaningful success, business, fitness, art, healing, is built on unglamorous consistency. The workout when you're tired, the paragraph you write uninspired, the awkward first attempts, those are the moments that matter most. They prove commitment. They build the future you. Here's your practice: name one small effort you made today and celebrate it. Keep a simple done list alongside your to-do list. When you feel stuck, look back at those accumulated steps, they're evidence you're on your way. Stop minimizing your effort. Start honoring the daily showing up. Because small efforts aren't secondary to success, they are success in motion. 100. Forgetting that life is short. You live like there's endless time, assuming tomorrow will always come. You delay what matters, avoid what's uncomfortable, scroll past what's meaningful. Intellectually, you know life is brief. But emotionally, you act as if it's infinite. Research shows that our perception of time profoundly shapes how we live. Studies reveal that when people become aware of life's brevity, what psychologists call time perspective narrowing, they reorient their priorities toward connection, meaning, and presence. Awareness of mortality clarifies values, avoidance of it dulls them. When you forget time is limited, you drift into distraction and delay. When you remember, your focus sharpens. Older adults who perceive less time left report higher emotional well-being and stronger relationships, not out of fear, but because they choose intimacy and purpose over trivial pursuits. Death awareness, paradoxically, enhances vitality. It makes life vivid, urgent, and sacred. So much unhappiness comes from living like you'll have another chance, ignoring people, passions, and opportunities as though they'll wait. They won't. Life keeps moving whether or not you participate in it. Here's your practice: reflect on what you'd regret if today were your last ordinary day. What haven't you said? What haven't you done? Then act on one thing. Call someone, apologize, begin the project, take the risk. Awareness of time's limit isn't morbid, it's motivating. It's what turns existence into living. Life is shockingly short, but also deeply enough, if you live it awake. Stop waiting for later. Later is a myth. Now is real.